Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium Black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool. But they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So, we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at Iupui, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from Iupui School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street, I just existed. I came to Wheeler Mission. Wheeler operates on a culture of kindness. Going through their programs reminded me that my meaning in life is to serve God. God set me free from anxiety and depression. Before Wheeler, I just existed, but today I live.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, final location near you, now.
Hey conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You saying I did?
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mount Vernon High School as we are ready for Week 3 of the high school football season, and we have a good one planned for you tonight. The Greenfield-central Cougars at 2-0, and the Marauders of Mount Vernon coming in at 0-2 on the season. Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Also by Burtner Electric, your licensed and experienced electricians serving Central Indiana. IU Sports Management, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 service, 1 logistical solution. And by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Great to have you with us, Troy Derengowski, along with Craig Cox. We have a good one in store for you tonight. I know you're going to look at this one and think, wait a minute, Mount Vernon is 0-2. They're the defending champions in 4A. How did they end up 0-2? And then you have Greenfield-central off to a 2-0 start. You would think maybe those two would be turned around, but, Coach, tell you what, Greenfield-central is playing well, and Mount Vernon still trying to find their way here early in the season.
Yeah, that's right, Troy. I mean, it is a little reciprocated in terms of what you might expect. But I'll tell you, that's something in some ways that people didn't expect probably on either side. But it's great for both these coaches to be able to have the opportunity tonight to either continue with what Greenfield-central's done, trying to get to 3-0, or for Coach Leidy and his staff to be able to crack the victory or the win column, if you will, tonight.
I know we're going to see contrasting styles, and we're going to break these two teams down here in a couple of moments, but you look at Greenfield, first time they've had a winning season last year and probably the last 6 years, so the whole thing is kind of turned around for them, and they love to run the football.
No, they do. They want to establish the ground game. They're averaging almost 250 yards a contest, which wishbone option. You don't see that a lot anymore,
yeah.
But no, and they do this well. I think, certainly Coach Nolting has done some great things with developing the great numbers within their youth program. As you alluded to earlier, it's the first winning season in 6 years. They also, might add, in the sectional semifinal last year against the eventual state champion of Mount Vernon, they played them within a 2-score. I think it was 14, maybe 12 or 14-point game. And so this is a team, that they're crosstown kind of rivals, county. And so they're in a position now where they've created some great momentum coming out of last year with the first winning season and getting 2 really quality wins, especially the first one in week 1, a big win over 5A opponent Plainfield.
That's right, and they've got some weapons. Let's start with their quarterback, Dallas Freeman. This young man had 219 yards passing and 2 touchdowns against Plainfield. He has a completion percentage at .643. He's thrown 4 touchdowns. A little bit about him. What does Coach talk about him and what he brings to the table?
Well, I think a lot of it is what you just talked about on the stat line is this efficiency.
Yeah.
When you're in a position where you are working with a young quarterback, it's great for the future of the program, but when you can also have a young quarterback do what he's done early on, not only with leading his team to 2 victories, but just the stat lines. Stat lines obviously will speak a lot into what a program has and what they're capable of doing. So he's a kid that can not only hurt you with the arm, but also make some things happen out of the pocket with his feet.
And they, as we said, they love to run the football, and it all starts with Andrew Zellers. This young man has had a great season so far, averaging 150 yards per game, 8.8 yards per carry, and he had 197 yards in that win against Plainfield. But they got other guys too, but it really starts with him.
It does. I mean, and yeah, he came in as a all-state and all-conference player, and then coming in with a 5A opponent, establishing himself well as a team. They're going to run the ball. And so that's something you just want to try to contain. You're not going to be able to eliminate that because they're going to run it down your throat. And he's one that came out with almost 200 yards against a much bigger opponent in Plainfield.
And then, of course, you look at a couple of the players that they have that will run the football tonight. It'll be Braylon Harrell and Owen Anderson. So, the one thing we talked about before we even got on the air, you don't see this offense run very much anymore because so many people go to the spread offense and they want to throw it around. Yeah, they want to run the football, but they love to throw it more. But this is kind of the reverse, isn't it?
It is. And, I mean, obviously, when they're in the wishbone, a lot of times it is a little bit more predictable. You can kind of run some RPOs out of it. But you're right. You are seeing spread much more often, just to try to spread the corners and the linebackers out a little bit more as possible. But it is one that is a little bit more predictable. But it's just so hard to stop in a lot of ways just because of the run-pass option that you have.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back, talk about Mount Vernon and their 0-2 start. Coming up next, this is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Well, we talked about it before we really even got started with the broadcast that Mount Vernon is 0-2, and that opened up a lot of eyes, Coach, to an 0-2 start when they ran off after losing their first game last year, 14 straight. They brought home a trophy a year ago, but now they're 0-2. What has happened to this ball club in their first 2 games?
Well, I think it's always hard. I mean, in a lot of ways, once you have success, I mean, obviously Leidy came in last year after being on staff with Kirchner's departure, won in his first year. So expectations get to real high real quick. And then when you can win that state, I mean, it does something for your community, it does something for your program, but it does set the bar high.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, to a certain degree, with the staff, the players, and the community, probably has taken them out a little bit and wondering, hey, what's going on? But, we're still very early. People are trying to establish their identities and looking to try to get in the win column here tonight.
And they got a good quarterback. In fact, they might use 2 different quarterbacks tonight. We'll see. But Luke Ertl is the guy they've gone to at least early, averaging over 211 yards passing so far.
Yeah, and he's a kid that is good efficiency, and they're probably a little bit more heavier on the pass than the run. We talked about earlier in the pregame is that they're really a running back by committee and a wide receiver by committee. They got 4 senior running backs with 1 sophomore, and then they got 3 receivers that are averaging anywhere from 75 to 90 yards a game, so that they can really hurt you with some different players. Coach Leidy talked about they're really wanting to try to establish identity with a running back and not 4 or 5 of them.
Very, very true. And, of course, you talk about all of the talent they lost from a year ago. It's hard to think about that much talent, and coming back and try to match that is not an easy thing to do.
It's not. I mean, a lot of these programs that get going and start that hamster wheel and really create the momentum, a lot of people just feel like, hey, it's just reload. And sometimes that can be a little tougher with high school.
All right, Mount Vernon will get the football first here tonight. Greenfield-central in their traveling white uniforms. You got to love the helmets because, yes, it looks like Michigan. And anything that looks like Michigan, Coach, is good. So we're going to see this Mount Vernon offense first as we are about ready to get underway here. 4 games on the network here tonight. We'll keep you updated on some of the scores that are going on around the state of Indiana. There are a lot of big games tonight as well. And the kick is on the way, a line drive kick, and the receive across the 20, 30-yard line, still on his feet, and the hard hit taken right there by Eli Breidenthal. And Breidenthal able to get across the 40, so good start here and good field position for the Marauders.
Yeah, and it was. And, Troy, that's a name we're going to be talking about quite a bit tonight. Breidenthal's, a player. He's obviously a player that's going to hurt you in a lot of different ways. He's averaging 95 yards a game in receiving, and he's averaging right at 90 rushing. So he's a guy that's a dual threat. He's one that will do a lot of things with the Marauders here, and he's another senior. They're pretty heavy with seniors with quite a few coming back from last year.
Luke Ertl with 2 receivers split wide to the right, slot to the right as well, hash mark left. And they'll run right out of the chute. Not much there, though, for Ashton Julian as he is brought down, and he might be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I don't even think that he did, Troy. So great pursuit there by the front D-line, getting good penetration there and making that initial contact. that first guy you want to just try to get in and try to slow him down and hope that your fellow brothers come in and do what they did there to get them a 1-yard loss.
Passing wide this year, Luke Ertl, 23 of 35, 423 yards, no touchdowns and an interception. He'll look to throw as he sets up near sideline. Ball caught at about the 49, and that's Eli Breidenthal once again. That's his 10th reception of the season, which leads the team.
Yeah, one that we'll also talk about on the defensive side once that we get here with Greenfield-Central is Kirk Connect, number 7 here. He's leading the state in interceptions with 4, and he's a very utility guy that they'll also use on offense.
So it'll be third down at about 3. The football again at the 48-yard line. Hash mark left once again, almost the exact same setup we saw 2 plays ago, with 2 receivers split wide to the right, man in motion. The handoff and the run over the left side. Big hole should be good enough for a first down. Once again on the carry is Julian. And now the football into Greenfield-Central territory.
Yeah, great hole here. Really downhill runner. He's a kid that's, really low center of gravity. One that is somewhat low. Not in big package 5'9", but at 180.
By the way, George Burren is the slot to the right. He's going to Purdue. Man in motion, and they'll hand off to the motion man around the right side. Maybe a yard or 2, not a whole lot there for Trey Jones. Jones leading the team in receptions with 11, averaging over 14 yards per reception.
Yeah, we talked about that they're a team that's kind of by committee, both at the run and at receiver, where they have multiple guys that they can go to. And what a great opportunity that gives Ertl to spread it around and keep the defense at bay.
Brogan is in the ball game as the lone setback, and we have a whistle and a flag, and that's going to go against Greenfield-Central, I do believe. Yep, so that's our first penalty of the ball game. Up front for Greenfield-Central, Peyton Foley, Reese Hill, Garrett Taylor, and Brad Allen. Your linebackers are Jacob Hinton, Brody Mayberry, Lane Waddle, and Will Desjarnette. And your defensive backs, Jacob Stotts, Owen Anderson, and Kirk Connect. Now to throw. The left-hander puts this one in the air and up, and that's going to be incomplete. Great effort, though, by George Barron, as he couldn't bring that one down. The big wide receiver, split tight end, and they'll probably target him quite a bit tonight as well.
Yeah, great, athletic play there. Burton, he's a 6'5", 215. What a great frame there. Obviously be up in West Lafayette. Doesn't have to change his colors too much, Troy.
That's right.
Still kind of in the black and gold. But great athletic play. Just couldn't quite come down with it at the point of contact.
Third down and 3 here for the Marauders. They'll run the football right up the middle. Looked like Brogan on the carry as he's pushed back. And let's see where they'll spot the football.
Like he was maybe just a hair short, but we'll see. We might have to get a measurement here because this is mighty close. It looks like you're going to give it to him.
Yeah, he got an excellent spot right there. Put the football at the 37-yard line. So Mount Vernon will keep the drive alive here in this opening period of play.
And Coach Leidy talked about, hey, we not only got to establish the run, but we got to stop the run. That's obviously what Greenfield does. But he talked about that we really got to, own the physicality of the game and being able to run the ball efficiently, and they've done that out the gate so far.
Breidenthal is the receiver to the near side, a little end around at the 30, 25, still on his feet at the 20, cuts back. This will be Trey Jones down to about the 7-8 yard line, and a nice run on the end around by Trey Jones.
Yeah, 32-yard run there. Really good job by the end around. And he's a smaller package kid. Really good, found the seam there, got great vision, and did some really good things.
Greenfield-Central making a couple of changes up front to their defense, and now as we're into the red zone here for Mount Vernon, knocking on the door, 1st and goal. We'll put it at the 8-yard line.
These are areas where you got to be able to punch these in.
Handoff will go to Brogan. Brogan to the outside, gets tripped up. Nice defensive play there for Greenfield-Central.
I think that's the Kirk Connect that we talked about earlier. That just made some plays, and again, being used on both sides of the ball. It's not just interception. He's second on the team in tackles. We also got to mention about Brad Allen, another all-state defensive end.
Now the football will be placed hash mark right. So a lot of running room to the near side if they choose to go that way. As you see Ertl out of the shotgun. Brogan stays in as the tailback, and we have a timeout on the field by Mount Vernon. We'll take a timeout as well. No score. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Well, after the timeout, we're back here at Mount Vernon High School. There you see no score, but you have 2nd and goal now for the Marauders. Football very close to the 6-yard line. Staying in the backfield will be Jeliba Brogan, and Brogan gets the call again, finds room up the middle, dives ahead, touchdown, and Mount Vernon on the board here tonight, leading at 6-0.
Well, and that's something, too, that anytime you're in any type of contest, get your first possession and kind of get some good balance. The majority of that was through the run and a couple passes, but for the most part, putting guys in motion. Coach Leidy said he wanted to not only establish the run, but run it efficiently. And, again, they've done this here on their first drive and not only chewing some clock, but getting a score here on the first possession.
So now the extra point attempt is on the way, and it is good. 7:37. Mount Vernon marches down, scores first here tonight. Greenfield-central will get the football for the first time in just a moment. This is high school football in IndianaSRN.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Good start for Mount Vernon, leading it 7-0. If we get a chance, we'll see the run that set things up. That was the Trey Jones run. And then the touchdown by Brogan, who, by the way, had not carried the football coming into this game tonight. And now he has a touchdown. And we're going to see Greenfield-central for the first time here tonight as well. High kick inside the 10 and a return to the near side to the 20-25 and driven out of bounds. And that's Kirk Connect, who will do a lot of the kick returning. Let's take a look at the touchdown for Mount Vernon. We're going to get the run first that set it up.
Yeah, it's Trey Jones on the end around in motion. Really finds the seam well. Really not some tackling you'd like to see in terms of the arm tackling, but trying to make contact. But great job of Trey turning it up. And then here's the touchdown run with Brogan right up the gut. Good job of the guys in the trenches and creating that good vision here to get forward and get him 6 on the board.
All right, for the first time this year, we'll see a quarterback under center, Dallas Freeman. And the handoff over the left side, 30, out to about the 32, maybe 33-yard line. You have Freeman at quarterback. Zellers, Harrell, and Anderson are the 3 running backs. On the carry was Owen Anderson for the first time tonight. They'll work with 2 tight ends, Lane Waddle and Trent Bailey. And up front, Anthony Miller Carnahan, along with Garrett Taylor, Braden Fleener, Reese Hill, and Connor Dotson. Run over the right side, and this will get to about the 36-yard line. On the carry there is Braylon Harrell.
And that looked like about 3. Looked like set up, it's like 3rd and maybe 2, I believe.
Well, this can't be easy to practice against either, since hardly anybody runs it anymore, especially at this level, right?
Yeah, you can obviously stack the box in a lot of ways. And as you see them, I mean, they got all 11 up tight.
Yeah, we have a scrum this time near the 40-yard line. We wait until the unpile to see who actually carried the football, and it looked like that time it was Andrew Zellers.
Well, Zellers, the one that you're going to see a lot of the lion's share of the carries, but they will spread it around a bit, and Dallas Freeman will do his part as well.
Bouncing to the outside, first down at the 50, 45, 40. Big run for Greenfield-central, and a huge play for Owen Anderson.
Yeah, and he's the one of the three-headed monsters that you'll see in that case, and great little play action there as we get the replay coming in. That gets you thinking you're going right up off the A gap and get him out here to the side for about a 25-yard gain.
Down to the 39-yard line. Handoff will go near side. 30, 25, 20. Open hold of the 10, and finally brought down is Braylon Harrell. And 2 big runs here for Greenfield-central. They have it now, 1st and goal.
Yeah, and again, this is the things that in terms of the setups that they have with this and how they play off of one back and then getting you to the outside. So as much as you can try to stack the box, it can be a very tough thing to defend.
And they have marched down the field quickly.
3 plays.
Yeah, Freeman hands off. The up back, maybe a yard. Not a whole lot there for Zellers. Let's take another look at that last run by Anderson.
Yeah, some misdirection again that you got.
Boy, great block there, too, to seal off the one defender on the end.
You know, a lot of times, too, sitting in the crowd, Troy, you can think like, hey, how hard can this be? Oh, it looks like here.
Yep, over the left side, touchdown for Anderson. And how about Greenfield-central answering the call? And tell you what, Mount Vernon's having a very difficult time stopping the run.
Yeah, and there was 6 quick plays, and they answered. And, you know, as great as it is for Mount Vernon to get out on the first possession, but then the flip side of that with Greenfield, how you got to answer. So great job of marching right back and chewed up a lot less of the clock. But both these teams off to great starts.
So now we'll see what Greenfield will do with the extra point right here. By the way, one of the offensive linemen, Braden Fleener, 6'2", 300 pounds, and he's one of those that open up a hole over that left side. So a chance to tie the ball game here in the opening period of play, and each team throwing a punch early, and now we're tied at 7. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from Iupui School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at Mount Vernon High School, Marauders will get the football for the second time. Line drive kick, bouncing inside the 5-yard line, and there will be a return across the 15. Not as good of a return this time as there was in the opening kick of the football game, but it was Trey Jones on the return. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Craig, I'll tell you what, looks like this might be the same kind of score we're going to see here tonight, what we saw in that sectional last year, huh?
Well, yeah, and that was one where Greenfield-central was defeated in the sectional semis by 14. And Mount Vernon, as we know, took the storied line and went on to win state after only being defeated the first game of the season to Noblesville. So certainly one where both came out the gate quick. We'll see how Mount Vernon does here on their second.
Yeah, they'll hand it off around the near side once again. This time it was Burtner who got the call, but not a whole lot there. It'll be second down.
Great job here by the linebacker, Jacob Hinton, reading that and tackling him here for really no gain.
By the way, this Mount Vernon team runs a spread tempo offense, and they can really run a lot of different formations out of this. This time trips to the right, hash mark left, and looking to throw out in the flat, and then dropping the football. He was ready to take off before he gathered it in, as that was dropped by number
Chris
26.
Esmond.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where you're really anxious to turn the head upfield and to try to create something positive. But at the end of the day, you always got to look that ball into the hands and always possess that first. Hard to do things with the ball until you gain possession of it. But you're right. Mount Vernon's going to look to keep you spread. They got multiple guys that they can run at you here on 3rd and long.
So 3rd and 10, Ertl to throw. Left hand and intercepted at the 30-yard line. Coming up with a big INT, Jacob Stotts. And tell you what, it's hard to throw against this team. We saw what we mentioned earlier about Kirk Connect, but this time it was Stotts.
No, and it is. And, I mean, that's something, too, that though they're playing your standard base of 4-3 as we get the replay here. One that Ertl would like to have back, kind of threw a little bit on his back foot, got hit at the time too, which might have had some play into his receiver in Etherington not being able to run that fully out, and it cost the Marauders.
So Greenfield will get the football 1st and 10 at the 29, about a yard gain this time for Harrell.
A lot of times, this can play tricks on the cameraman because you really sometimes don't know who has the ball, right?
I'm thinking the same thing you are.
Can make it a little tough for us in the booth, too, but at the same time, it's probably a little tougher on the cameraman. So shout out to Ethan doing a great job here early.
They'll line it up tight once again, and nothing this time. On the carry was Anderson, and for the second straight time, that Marauder defense able to get a stop.
Coach Leidy and his staff certainly pleased with these last 2 downs, setting them up 3rd and long. A lot of times, again, when you got this type of formation offensively, it's going to have you a lot of times stack the box. But here we got 3rd and long, and you're seeing the Cougars spreading it out a bit here, which is a little bit uncommon territory for them, but one that will keep the defense playing honest.
Yeah, by the way, Kirk Connect is one of the receivers in the ball game to the bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 9. They have to get to about the 19. They will look to throw, and that's going to fall incomplete. Freeman overthrows his intended receiver, and now you're looking at 4th down.
Yeah, and one that you really expect to be 4-down territory here. You really don't gain anything by punting, being at the 29. So they'll go for it here and still put Mount Vernon in a position where they got the majority of the field to deal with if they don't convert this.
Intended receiver is Braylon Harrell. So again, they have to get to the 19-yard line. They look to throw Freeman again. This time unloads downfield, and this will fall incomplete. And so Mount Vernon's defense will hold Greenfield-central on their second possession and get the football.
Yeah, ball is intended for Connect. Once again, we talked earlier about you're going to hear his name on both sides of the ball as well as in even the return game. With something like that, you just try to look to see if you convert this, and lo and behold, maybe even hope that you might be able to get a defensive pass interference to get you a new set of downs as we see the replay. Pretty well-thrown ball here. Put it right where you kind of needed to. You kind of want to maybe have it a little bit more toward the sideline, but the touch on it was really nice.
So 1st down for Mount Vernon. We've seen each team with 2 possessions, each team with a score, and then the interception, and then again, Greenfield-central running out of downs. So the handoff for Mount Vernon. Nice run out to about the 40, maybe 41-yard line is Ashton Julian back in the lineup there for the Marauders.
Great run there by Ashton. 12-yard, moving the chains. Again, establishing this run, which is what we saw here on the first series as well.
Nose of the football, you see it right there at about the 41-yard line. Great crowd on hand here, the home opener for Mount Vernon. Not a far drive there for all the Greenfield fans here tonight. Burren is in motion as he'll now set to the near sideline. They'll look to throw. Ball caught at the 45. Big hit on Breidenthal. Coming up to make the stick was Owen Anderson.
Yeah, really good job of good read. That's what you want to do as base set in terms of your corner and your DBs, is keeping them underneath you, letting him run his especially little hitch route and getting in a position here where he read well and then closed in. And really good technique as you see him landing the shoulder first and wrapping the arms.
A little jumping up front, and the flag will fly. They may have gotten Peyton Foley, the defensive end, here on the near side. That little hard snap count.
Yeah, I was going to say a hard count will get you a little jumpy. But, talk about defensively, it's always like, hey, keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball. Well, sometimes that can be a little tough. You're a little antsy, especially your DNs. They're chomping at the bit. But here we get change move a bit and give them a little first down.
Football at the 49. They'll run it up the middle, maybe a yard on the play. Not much there. On the carry once again was Julian.
Yeah, the Marauders really haven't been able to get a whole lot, up the middle. Most of what they've received has been more on the end arounds.
Ertl once again will now look to the sideline. Two receivers to the right. One of those will be Trey Jones. He is the receiver to the very top. So keep an eye on him. Breidenthal is at the bottom, man in motion. Now two receivers to each side. They'll throw, ball caught. And there's your tight end once again, Burren. And he's going to be close to another first down, close to the 40-yard line. He's a nice big target.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say the exact same thing. As a quarterback, you not only love to have guys that you can throw the ball with when it leaves your hand, having confidence in your receivers, but when you got a guy that's that type of target, and it's not only his height at 6'5", but he's 215.
Yeah.
What a great frame that this young man has on him.
Yeah, imagine how big he's going to be when he gets up to Purdue, and they work on him for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't probably be surprised if he doesn't turn into be a tight end.
3rd down and 1. The carry for the first time, Ashton Julian once again, and now the Marauder is marching with a football with under a minute to go.
Well, these are types of things, again, established in this game just to, get the run to set up your pass or even get your guys in motion. Will kind of keep your guys tight to try to get stuff on the end around. But doing a good job here of clock management as well.
Football will be at the 36-yard line. 1st down and 10. They'll look to throw. Ertl with the left-hand sling downfield, and it's going to be intercepted again. Just off of the hands of Trey Jones, and another interception. This time it'll be Stotts for the second time tonight.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, he's got 2. That we talked about at the top of the show has Connect, Kurt Connect, and here we got the replay. Got, I believe it was Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And had it, and then came off his back shoulder pad. And I'll tell you what, great focus and sense of alert by Stotts, who's already has him 1 pick and now 2. But Kurt Connect's leading the state in interceptions with 4. I guess Jacob Stotts is having something to say about that tonight.
Going to try to catch him tonight. Quick run to about the 12-yard line as you see the clock may run out here before Greenfield-central gets another playoff. That was Zeller, I believe. Zeller's on the run. Their fullback, number 5. I don't think they're going to run another play right here, and they will not. 7-7 after 1. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Hey, today's game brought to you by Telemetry Sports. For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with the NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds and accelerations that they run are providing us in generating using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players, keep in mind that over 18 miles an hour is very fast and impressive for high school and college athletes. Telemetry Sports, proud sponsor of high school football here on IndianaSRN. Greenfield-central football to begin this second period of play. They'll run it up the middle once again to about the 15-yard line. I'm going to take another look at the INT after the run there by Zellers. You talk about the concentration level. You're exactly right. I mean, I'm thinking tackle right there, and the ball pops right in his hands.
Yeah, and even when it came off the back shoulder pad of Trey, he reached back with his hand and even tipped it up a little bit more for Jacob to get that.
Handoff, second back through the hole across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. This time it was Braylon Harrell on the carry. I think the last time I saw Greenfield-Central play, it's been years. They were just not very good. You have to be impressed the way that they've turned this thing around.
No, I mean, prior to last year, they hadn't had a winning season since 2012. And so when they're in the position of doing that and you start to turn that corner, it can not only change your program, Troy, but it can also change your community.
Yeah.
You know, you get a lot of younger kids, 8, 9, 12, that are really looking forward to playing varsity football on Friday night, as we have a keeper here by Freeman. But, yeah, I mean, it can just do a lot of different things for your program, your community, and let's face it. I mean, all sports are great, but nothing brings a community together like football.
Yeah.
You can think about all the time, hey, the game's going on, and a lot of your youth, they never see any of the
That's
plays.
right.
They're playing behind the bleachers, playing their own football games.
I know I was.
Absolutely.
Second down at about 7. Greenfield on the march, handoff right side. Harrell finds a hole near the sideline, brought out of bounds near the 39-yard line. Nice run again by Harrell.
Yeah, giving him 11 on the play there, moving the chains again. I tell you, this is great for establishing with the clock, but you know what a lot of times that this can get is your guys up front. It can get you tired, and you see there's no huddle, so the pace is going the way that they like it as well.
Handoff up the middle. This will be another nice gain of about 5 on the carry.
Couldn't see who the carry was.
That's going to be Zellers.
Zeller.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zellers is a fullback. He is listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds.
You know, these linemen will always want to, run block before they pass block, but what really gets them gassed is the no huddle.
That's right. Handoff, nothing there. Might even be a loss of a yard. Let's see where they'll spot the football. That was Freeman on the carry.
It looks like Kellen LaBelle on the tackle for a loss. Maybe no gain, or if not, 1 yard for a loss, but really good job of wrapping him up there.
Yeah, these guys up front for Mount Vernon aren't really big, but they're very quick. So now there's movement. That'll go against Greenfield. It'll be third down and 11.
They're going to get a legal shift here.
Clean game so far, only a couple of penalties so far. So I was going to mention again, when you talk about size up front, and again, with the Fleener kid at 6'2", 300 pounds, he's the one they love to run behind. He's the center.
Yeah, big boy in the trenches up front.
So now it'll be third down as the clock continues to tick here in period number 2. Freeman to throw. Airs it out down the middle, and this one is tipped away. Nice defensive play by Ren Davis.
Yeah, really good job there by Ren on the coverage, but also just to break that up. It was one that, again, Kurt Connect. Love to see that, too, with what Ren did there, is just coming up and tapping Kurt on the, great sportsmanship as we see the replay here. But really good blanket coverage, and comes up and closes at the right time to get in there with that left hand.
You know, what we have seen so far, both teams march down the field, they score, and what adjustments you think have been made. I mean, apparently somebody's adjusted well on both sides where the offenses aren't quite as effective as they were.
Well, I think too early on you saw the Marauders really stack the box with 11 tight. And now you've seen, even when they've been in more of their wishbone option, that the Marauders' defense has been spread out to really protect the edges.
So, again, we're looking at 4th down, or actually the sideline says 3rd down, back to throw and getting mauled for the big sack. That's number 54 coming in, Roland Tremble.
Yeah, and Roland is rolling, 6'3", 295. Came in and gave him an old bear hug. Wasn't much to see once you get those big paws up. Look at this boy.
He takes a lot of space, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a big kid. And great job right up the gut. 4th and, really forcing the 4th and long, which will certainly be our first punt of the night.
Yeah, Aaron Lee will be deep, standing inside his own 5-yard line. So Mount Vernon, one way or the other, they're going to get very good field position right here. First time we've seen a punt here tonight. Good protection. The kick, an end-over-end kick, will take a Greenfield-central bounce. Boy, you got to love that one, all the way down to the 31-yard line.
Thought we were going to see the mirror of the Colts-Buffalo game, in the preseason, where we saw that 80-yard punt. Great job there of really having 4th, and I think it was 24, something you don't want to go for in your own territory. But to get a kick like that is great timing here and pin them back all the way to their own 30.
So Mount Vernon will take over 1st and 10. Again, 8:12 remaining here in period number 2 football. In fact, nose of the football just shy of the 31-yard line. Luke Ertl again will have Trey Jones, his receiver, to the short side. With a slot to the right, hash mark to the left, handoff. This will be Julian. Julian at the 35, breaks a tackle out to about the 39-yard line. Nice run by Julian.
Yeah, really good job there of stretching for the extra. Couple yards there. Looks like it'll be spotted at their own 38. Enough to move those. It looks like he's about 3 short.
Yeah, 2nd down and about 3. Mount Vernon once again looking to the sideline as Ertl making adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Looks like it'll be Julian remaining in the backfield. Ertl to throw, has plenty of time. Airs it out far side, has a man. It'll be Jones at the 20 down to about the 15-yard line. Great catch by Jones to set this one up.
Great job there, 36 yards, give or take on that. But great job of getting over the top, and something as a corner you don't want that to happen. Once you're beat there, you got a good quarterback like we have in Luke and putting that ball where it's at. And again, we have Trey's the one that's leading this Marauder offense and catches for the year, and he's showing nothing short of that here tonight.
Football at the 14-yard line as you see the Marauders knocking on the door. Handoff will go to Julian. Julian gets to about the 11. Let's take a look at that catch by Trey Jones and a great throw by Ertl.
Yeah, just something on the outside route. Just go route and get extended on top. And one on the defensive side, you don't want to see your corner again get beat to the deep side.
So now it'll be 2nd down. They can still get a 1st down at the 4-yard line. A little tighter formation this time for the Marauders. By the way, Trey Jones to the near side. And we have a whistle and a timeout once again by Mount Vernon.
Yeah, they're second.
We'll take a timeout as well. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. You know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year, all sorts of sports. Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Tied at 7 here in period number 2. Mount Vernon using their 2nd timeout. as they try to take the lead here before we head to halftime. Ertl again this time. In fact, it's going to be Breidenthal. Breidenthal will be stopped inside the 10 at about the 9.
Yeah, it looks like he setting up in the Wildcat there and gaining about 2 on that. So we'll look like it'll be about 3rd and about 5.
In the ball game also is Darnell Stewart Jr., a 6'4", 190-pound senior.
It looks like Breidenthal's going to stay there too,
yeah,
Troy.
He sure is.
Still there. Ertl's still out.
So Breidenthal, and there is the hard snap count, and that'll draw flags. That's the second time we've seen that tonight.
And we talked about we'll see him sometimes in the backfield. Most of the time you're going to see him at wide out. Now you're seeing him at quarterback. And then great where you can have your receiver come in at quarterback and draw the D-line offsides on a hard count.
No kid. He's a big kid too, 6'3", 190.
Yes, he is. Yeah, got some big targets.
By the way, Breidenthal has thrown the ball coming into his ball game 17 times.
And then the other one that's in here on the top of your screen, Darnell Stewart, he's 6'4", 190.
Yeah, big kids. So another whistle. And I think we've got yet another timeout. We're going to keep it right here for this timeout. Remind you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Indiana Mulch and Stone. Since its inception in 1987, Indiana Mulch and Stone has been dedicated to providing the highest quality products to landscapers, businesses, and residents in central Indiana. Their first priority and foremost goal is to establish long-term relationships with their customers by offering exceptional service and the highest quality landscape products. This philosophy has defined their success for the last 35 years and will continue for decades to follow. For more information, go to their website, IndianaMulch.com. We've seen 2 timeouts here during this series as both teams trying to certainly jockey for position, you might say, and Greenfield gets the timeout that time to talk about what they want to do defensively.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about both of them coming out of the gate scoring on their first drives, and then you had a couple turnovers by Mount Vernon, and you also had both teams with a couple stops. Saw both teams now have punted, and now Marauders here on their 4th possession here inside the 5 trying to punch it in.
Yep, they can still get that first down. Breidenthal stays in, handoff up the middle, and to the 1-yard line is Julian. And that offensive line opening up some nice holes on that run.
Yeah, really good job of him hitting downhill. Couldn't quite even get in. Looked a lot like Brogan's touchdown play where Brogan really extended out, and Julian couldn't quite get there, but looks like he's just spotted inside the 1.
That'll be a 1st and goal now. Mount Vernon looking to take the lead. By the way, when you look at the size of Julian, 5'8", 175, not a really big kid. Here's Breidenthal around the left side, steps in for the touchdown, and the Marauders take the lead at 13-7. Boy, what a luxury to have when you can use Ertl and Breidenthal.
Yeah, Ertl ended up being on the bench for about the last 5 or 6 plays of that drive where Breidenthal just, has been running the Wildcat, and they're served more as a running back with the option to run and taking them for the 1-yard score for them to try to go up 7 here.
So the extra point. And before the kick, we have a flag. In fact, a flag back here at the 15. We have a flag also down about the goal line. It'll go against Mount Vernon. Rylan Vinard is the kicker, just a sophomore, I believe. Nope, he's a senior.
It's been a well-played game so far, Troy, I think on both sides of the balls of both of these teams. I think it's, both coaches talked about what the keys to the game, and I think that they've really played true to form to that and established both of what they're trying to do as we get the extra point here.
Line drive kick, it is just enough. And Mount Vernon leads at 14-7. This is high school football in IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from Iupui School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Mount Vernon with the 14-7 lead. Greenfield-central will get the football back. Just under the 6-minute mark. Kick will drive the returner back to the 5-yard line. To the outside and smothered right there. Good special teams. Owen Anderson going down. And it looked like that was DJ Johnson, a sophomore, backup running back and defensive back. Let's take a look at that last touchdown that we saw just moments ago. Breidenthal got a good block on the inside.
Yeah, kind of pinned him in, left the outside crease open there for him to fight for the pylon, but pretty kind of effortless in going in untouched.
That was number 77, Kyler Grill, who set that block on the outside. So with 5:21 to go, Greenfield-central with the football. The pitch to the outside. A little gang tackling right there, but the running back does not go down. That is going to be Anderson once again.
Looks like he might have got maybe 3 or 4 on this. See how they looks like you're going to give him 5.
So it'll be 2nd down and 5. Man in motion, but the handoff to the up back, that's going to be Zellers, I believe.
And we thought that he would have had a little bit more heavier dose in the first half. Really hasn't been so much the case. He's a guy that's almost had 200 yards in the first game, week 1 against Plainfield, and he's averaging about 150 over the course of 2 games. So probably expect him to get a little bit more of the lion's share here in the second half.
He got the call again, I do believe, out to about the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. They're trying to run behind their big center at 300 pounds. Those 2 guards aren't exactly small either, by the way.
They got some size here that you got up front for the Cougars.
Yeah, Reese Hill's about 285. He's a guard. Fumble, and they'll lose yardage here as you see Freeman jump on the loose football. That's really the first mistake we have seen overall by Greenfield-central on offense.
Well, and it's one that sometimes you might, even at the high school level, see with the wishbone option and having 3-back system like they do, and so compressed, if you will, you think sometimes you might see that more often with the exchanges.
So it's going to be 3rd down and 13 here for the Cougars. They'll hand it off to the man that went in motion, but not much again for Braylon Harrell as he gets near the 34-yard line. And I believe, there will be some personnel changes, and the punter will come on. So we're going to see Greenfield-central punt for the 2nd straight time.
Yeah, great job here. I think Mount Vernon has settled down quite a bit now. Has gotten 3 stops here in a row after Greenfield-central. I think they could kind of sustain their run a little bit better than what they did here in the first couple possessions that the Cougars had.
This one a high kick right down the middle. The fair catch made it around the 42-yard line, and Mount Vernon will get the football back. And they have plenty of time at 2:54 to go here in the first half. Want to remind you, tonight's game brought to you in part by Serenity Home Care. Serenity Care Services is an Indiana licensed personal agency and Medicaid waiver service provider in Central Indiana. They're friendly, competent, and experienced team of caregivers you have been seeking. If you need more information, go to their website at serenitycareservices.net. First down here for Mount Vernon, leading at 14-7. Out of the shotgun once again. Ertl looks to throw as he's flushed out of the pocket. Now hits his man Jones, and Jones coughs up the football, and Greenfield-central gets it back. third turnover in the first half for the Marauders.
Yeah, really good job of Luke getting out of the pocket there, kind of pumped twice and got himself in a position where he found one of his 4 receivers in Jones, as we have a player down for the Cougars. Jones made a really good move and then didn't have quite the ball security coaching staff and probably himself would like. Pops out third of the night for them. But these are types of things where Greenfield-central, as we look at the replay here, did a good job of kind of coming out of that on a little flex option and coming here and just great job with the hit and alertness here by the Cougars defense. But yeah, I mean, the third turnover, Troy, as you mentioned, the Cougars came up empty-handed on the other 2. These are types, especially when you get it almost here at midfield, right before half. They want to be in a position where they can get themselves in a position to punch it in the end zone here to tie this before the break.
You could see on the replay it was Jacob Stotts, who has 2 interceptions tonight, ended up getting hit. In fact, his own player ran by him and kind of hit him on the head, kind of snapped his head back a little bit, and he went down.
Yeah, great job in his hand on that, both interceptions and the forced fumble, all 3 turnovers. So really good job there. Just some area scores here just to kind of talk. Don't know how if these are fully updated, but Westfield over Zionsville 6-0. Warren Central over North Central 14-0. No reported score on the LCLN, Battle of Lawrence. Heritage down to Guerin by 1. Ben Davis over Pike 21-0. Chittard is down, they're up on Roncalli 7-0. Fisher's up on Noblesville 7-0. Carmel playing perennial national powerhouse Detroit Cass Tech. They're up 14-7. And then the HSE Avon game with the Royals up 14-0.
Of course, we have huge games again next week, and we're talking about Cathedral and Chittard. Yeah. You and I get that game.
Yeah, what a load. That's probably what we talked about before we came on here tonight is, that's not only a rich, deep tradition, not only in the parochial system here in the greater metro Indianapolis area, but it probably is one that's as rich that you have in the state of Indiana, Troy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll take a timeout as the injured player, Jacob Stotts, still down. We'll come back. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
With high school football tonight, don't forget tomorrow we begin our Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference 9-game schedule. We will have the Hanover Panthers hosting the Colonels of Center out of Kentucky. Our airtime at around 1:15 tomorrow. And certainly that will be a fun one with the kickoff at 1:30. We also have more games coming up next week, and I'm sure you want to tune into these. On Tuesday, we have volleyball action as Bethesda Christian will be at Heritage Christian, and then Cathedral and Chittard. That will be on Tuesday night as well. And then, of course, next Friday, you have the matchup we just talked about, Cathedral and Chittard, and that'll be kicking off at 7 o'clock. And then this Mount Vernon team will be hosting New Pal, and what a start New Pal has had so far, Coach. They're off to a great start.
No, it's probably been one of the bigger, not so much surprises, but as far as who they played and how they won.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Then we'll have Eastern Hancock and Heritage Christian, and then we'll head up to South Bend. It'll be South Bend Adams and South Bend St. Joseph. And all those games again right here on IndianaSRN. As again, Jacob Stotts is still down on the sideline there for Greenfield-central as he took a hit at really around the head area. He got caught as one of his teammates was coming by and going after that fumble.
Well, and anytime you have a player down, it's always tough. But one that you have that stays down even longer, it becomes tougher.
Very much
so. Your concern was with, this young man, his family, his teammates, and football can be a very tough and violent sport at times, but one that has been very rewarding for many. He's a young man that we've been talking about a lot tonight with the forcing that fumble and then the 2 interceptions that we have. So certainly prayers going with him right now, and I'm sure that he's getting good medical attention as they assess him.
You know what? We have college football tomorrow here on IndianaSRN. Purdue got underway last night. And then, of course, we've got IU tonight as they take on Illinois. And then how about the one tomorrow, Notre Dame and Ohio State?
Yeah, I tell you, we talked about this before the game, too, tonight, is that, it's kind of different, in the last 2-3 years where it's almost like now you got 4 to 5 nights a week where you're getting college football.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was always, hey, this is just a Saturday and Saturday only. And it's kind of like how the NFL went from, being on just Sunday and Monday to being the Thursday night. But you're seeing a lot of college. It's kind of different, because Friday Night Lights is really kind of, lack for a better term, reserved for high school, right?
Exactly.
Well, not so more. And it's kind of odd, first game of the season, too, where teams are starting off with conference games.
Yeah.
Purdue last night with Penn State, and even though it's Illinois' second game, but IU's first tonight, and being a conference, it's so used to having 2 or 3 pre-conference games to start off your season, but not so more.
Hey, we want to remind you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Pat Cherry Insurance. Our staff will provide you with over 40 years of trusted expertise and knowledge to help protect your assets. Make sure you visit them so they can put in a claim if you need one and you're part of their family. If you need more information, give them a call at 317-894-7000. You can also email them at pat@cherryinsuranceagency.com. Tell you what we'll do. We'll take another timeout as they continue to work with the injured player Jacob Stotts of Greenfield-central. We did understand there was a stretcher that came out, and that's not good news there, so we'll hope the best for him here the rest of the way, but it doesn't look like he'll be back tonight for Greenfield-central. We'll take a timeout. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Back here at Mount Vernon High School as the injured player, as we've talked about, Jacob Stotts, will be assisted off the field as you see the Mount Vernon player showing respect for Stotts, and hopefully that young man will be okay. I want to remind you, too, that we will have all the high school football scores from tonight, not only around central Indiana, but around the state on our sports page tomorrow morning if you don't want to stay up late tonight and wait for some of the scores to come in. Most teams are playing, unless you're an independent, you're playing your conference openers tonight. And, of course, Craig had given us some of the scores a little bit ago. If we get more, we'll definitely pass those along to you as we go tonight as well.
We talk about Jacob Stotts being down here and getting attended to, obviously with the training staff probably from both schools, I would imagine, and maybe some medical emergency as we're getting some indication that they're lifting him up on the stretcher and taking him away. But just certainly want to give a shout-out to the medical staffs and the trainers. Probably a whole different sense of this year than previous years and getting back to some normalcy, if you will, with not all the contact tracing and all the protocols had to go through with COVID over the last few years. And talked a little bit about with Coach Leidy and Coach Nolting about, hey, getting back to that and having kind of a full season now with your postseason and a summer that they haven't had and going into your preseason. And so it's certainly good to kind of get back in, not only for the coaches, communities, the programs for this. So certainly want to give a shout-out to all that they're doing, and certainly to the Stotts family and Jacob, and praying for his recovery and whatever might be going on, and praying that he can get back very, very soon.
So after the lengthy delay, Mount Vernon, you saw them get a little run down to the goal line and back, keep those legs loose after waiting for several minutes. It looks like to me that Will Desjarnette is going to be the new defensive back, number 13. You see him walking here to the near side as he is replacing the injured Jacob Stotts. And it's always interesting to see how teams will come back and play. You know, you play, quick ball game, and a lot of times up and down the field, and then you got to get yourself amped up again and get ready to go. It's almost like having two different half times here, because you're going to play 2:45 and do it again.
Yeah, you're not used to these type of breaks, and trying to see how that might mess with the psyche and the mental side of things, and getting right back. So, and a lot of times it can impact the team that was impacted more by that with their own player. And so certainly, again, prayers go out there, and certainly hoping as play resumes here that the guys can focus on what's ahead of them.
Should mention it'll be a little bit of a longer halftime. It is youth football night for Mount Vernon, so they'll be doing a lot of those special activities this evening. So here we go. 1st and 10 following the fumble here for Greenfield-Central, and they're going to come out running the football over the left side, and there's your fullback again, Andrew Zellers on the carry as he'll get past midfield.
Yeah, really good job here on the first down yardage, as looks like he got about 6 on that carry. It's going to be a second and 4.
Greenfield-Central again. The handoff, and not much this time, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That is Zellers once again.
Yeah, not much happening there. Got good penetration. Again, a lot of times you'll look at these sets and just feel like it's so predictable and it's easy to stop, but it's not so much, because there's a lot of misdirection, and everything is such a tight formation. Sometimes it can make it a little tough to find out actually and detect where that ball's at.
A fumble on the snap, and flags will go down as well.
It's a little delayed there. I didn't know if we had a fumble-rooski going to happen here.
You know what might have made the difference there is you had big number 54, Roland Tremble, back in there, and he has caused some havoc up front there for Mount Vernon. It was a false start against Greenfield. Owen Bitts is another guy, 6'1", 270. I think if I'm a college coach, I could find a few kids out of here that could play for my team.
No, without a doubt, on both sides, really.
Exactly. 3rd and 8. Freeman flushed out of the pocket, throws short, big hit at the 45, but holding on to the football is Owen Anderson. That's a nice hit right there, and guess who it was? Number 81, George Burren.
Yeah, and we talked about him on the big set on the offensive side of the ball. But what a great job by Owen Anderson, not only taking the hit, but maintaining control of the ball with about a 7-yard gain.
We're going to take another look at that hit right here as we have a timeout on the field.
Yeah, really good containment here, keeping him underneath and coming up from the backside safety spot here and low in the boom.
Boy, no kidding. In fact, it was actually Kellen LaBelle who was on coverage there for Mount Vernon, but the big hit there by Burren as he smelled that one out quickly. And again, it'll be 4th down and 2. What will Greenfield-Central do right here? If you give up the football here near midfield, you're still at a minute 23. Not a ton of time, but perhaps enough for Mount Vernon to mount some sort of attack the rest of the way.
Yeah, and still a good amount of time left. They just need to convert this to get a new set of downs here.
Up the middle. Yep, and that's going to be Zellers once again, the fullback. They seem to have a little more success running it out of the wishbone with that formation than they have with others.
No, great point there. I mean, early on they were getting a little bit of misdirection and getting it out on the edges, but since then they've really ran everything off the A-gaps.
So here's the pitch around the left side. Good look at Anderson. And a big-time collision at near the 37-yard line as he is out of bounds with 1:08 to go.
Yeah, good job of getting some positive yards and getting to the edge there and stopping the clock to where they can preserve that last timeout that they have.
So the football will be at the 36-yard line.
And kind of a little bit out of that where they're kind of running some more spread but getting some RPOs possibly out of this.
From under center once again, Freeman. Handoff, nothing there, maybe a yard or two, but again, not a whole lot of running room there for Zellers. As you see the clock, under a minute remaining. Zellers will remain in as the lone setback. Freeman takes the snap, rolling, and he's going to throw or he's going to keep it. He's going to keep it himself. 30, and then goes down at about the 27-yard line.
Yeah, good job there. He knows and understands that, getting down, he got the first down, went ahead and they'll reset this, and once they get the chains moved, they'll start the clock again. So good job here. They can get reset. Got to get themselves going and keep on pace as they're hurrying up with no huddles anyways.
1st and 10. Freeman to throw. Down the sideline, an intended receiver was number 7.
Looks like Nick.
Yep, that's Connect there, and unfortunately, good coverage if you're a Mount Vernon fan. Ren Davis doing it again.
You probably look for them if they can't get something kind of spread more on the edge with the run. You'll probably look for them to be able to get a few passes here.
Take another look at it. You saw Connect look back right there, but the football was over his head. Freeman to throw near sideline. Ball caught 20. And I'll tell you what, nearly took his head off there.
Yeah, you might see a timeout here now by Coach Nolte.
Jaden Gibson with the hit.
After they spot it, we'll see if they call us. It looks like that they're Dallas is going to have to be ready for this snap, though, as soon as it's whistled.
Looked like that was Owen Anderson on the reception there for Greenfield. Clock is at 10. Freeman to throw. Now he's going to run it himself. He's at the 5 and dives toward the end zone, and he gets in for the score.
Was that a flashback of Purdue last night? There's 3 seconds to go.
Yeah.
It's like Penn State scored right before the half with 3 seconds. We got 2.9.
They must have watched that game.
Yeah, that's what you would maybe call a little bit of clock management.
Yeah.
But great job there. Still had a timeout if they needed it, but great job of Dallas on that run. Haven't seen him much do things with his feet tonight, but he certainly did there to try to get this game notched even before they go to the break.
Boy, you've seen now Freeman, Zellers, Harrell, and Anderson all make a contribution running the football in the first half. So now the extra point, again with 2.9 remaining. And the kick is on the way. It is good. We're tied at 14. This is high school football in IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
2.9 remaining as Greenfield-central tying the football game with the touchdown by Dallas Freeman. And this will run out the first half on the return. Out to the 25 and gang tackled near the sideline. Not a whole lot of running room on the return. That was, once again, number 88, Trey Jones. We have made it to halftime. Each team scoring on their first possessions, and then after that, each team struggling a little bit at times on offense, but did see some big plays. And again, Dallas Freeman finishing it off with that touchdown run to tie the ball game. And really, Coach, it's kind of been everything we've expected it to be tonight.
It is. We talked about early, about midway through the first quarter, we talked about what the keys to to the game were for both of these coaches, and thought that both of them did a pretty solid job of staying the course and doing what the coach's game plan was. There was obviously a couple turnovers, 3 in fact by Mount Vernon, that didn't end up being costly until this last one here that they just got after the delay with the injured player, and they turned it into points. But other than that, we got a notched even game here, and certainly one that probably is building up to be a great second half.
If we get an opportunity, we will try to pass along some more scores going on week 3 of this high school football season. And, of course, we have 3 other games on the network tonight as well. It's going to be a little bit of an extended halftime. As we mentioned, it is a night where they will honor the youth football programs here at Mount Vernon. And again, of course, you'll get a chance to the fans here to see the band play as well. Do not go away. We'll come back with more as we continue. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Hi, I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to IHSAAfoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Whether or not you've ever stepped into a church before, you've probably seen one of these, a Bible. It's the most read, most translated, most debated, most placed in a hotel room book of all time, and people have been reading it for thousands of years. And yet, for many of us, the Bible can feel really complex and intimidating. I mean, where do we start? And what does an ancient book have to do with everyday life in Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Well, there's a million different ways to start trying to get a better understanding of the Bible. You can read it on your own, study it with others, or even come to a service in Three Crosses or New Harvest Sanctuary to hear people teach about it. Heck, you can even take some classes about the Bible across I-24 at MTSU. But this year at World Outreach, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to dive in and look at the Bible as one great big story, to get to know the characters and storylines like we would if we were watching an epic movie. We're going to take a journey together along the timeline of this great story. Our hope is, in the end, that we'll see the Bible in new ways, that the story would come to life and change us, that we'll find that we truly have a mighty source in the Bible. So sit back, take a deep breath, and get ready, because here we go. The narrative of the Bible starts with God. The Bible is an unfolding drama about God and about what God is doing on planet Earth. The story begins with Earth in chaos and God beginning to bring order to that chaos. Over the course of 6 days, God spoke and our world began to take shape. Each day, God would stop and look at whatever was created, clouds or grass or mountains or raccoons, and think, that's good. The world was perfect, just as God intended it to be. Then, on the 6th day, God decided to make a creature called man by scooping up some dirt from the earth and breathing life into it. God named him Adam. God placed Adam in a garden that was full of plants and animals. Then, God told Adam it was his job to take care of everything in the garden, even to name each and every one of the animals. In the garden were two unique trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam to eat anything from the garden, except for the fruit that came from the tree of knowledge. As you're probably already aware, the story doesn't end there. At some point, God decided it wasn't good for man to live alone. God wanted a suitable companion and helper for Adam, but nothing else God had created so far did the trick. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep and pulled a rib out of his body, using it to form another creature. God called this creature woman and named her Eve. After doing all this amazing work, God took a break on the seventh day. God gave a special blessing on this day of the week, setting it apart to be different than the other 6 days. Adam and Eve lived in the garden, enjoying a perfect relationship with one another. They lived perfectly with their surroundings, taking care of the earth as God had told them to. And they had a perfect relationship with God, spending time with God each day. Talk about mighty. That's some pretty amazing stuff God did. Not a bad start to the story, huh? Life, for now, was just as God had intended it to be.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student-athletes that participate across 21 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student-athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake. Yeah.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got a counter right here. Isn't this where you place the orders?
We sell trophies, we sell plaques, we do embroidery. No food.
You got carry out?
Unlike the internet, everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
You know, Jim, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it all up.
We'll wait for you.
Don't wait long.
At the point we left off in the story, everything was going just as God had intended. God had given Adam and Eve a perfect world and a perfect relationship with one another, with their surroundings, and with God. Yep, sounds a lot like today. People getting along, everybody loving God, taking care of the earth. Yeah, not so much. So what happened? Well, a serpent in the garden came to Adam and Eve and tried to convince them to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the same tree that God had told them not to. The serpent told them that they would be just like God if they ate from it. Well, we don't know what the exact kind of fruit was, an apple, an orange, or a juicy Tennessee tomato. And we don't know for sure whether they believed the serpent or wanted to find out for themselves. The fact of the matter is, Adam and Eve ate that fruit. This decision would change the course of history and had immediate consequences. Adam and Eve couldn't live in the garden anymore, and their perfect relationship with God and each other was broken. From there, things just seemed to get worse. One of Adam and Eve's sons murdered his brother, and their grandchildren did all sorts of wicked things. We're trying to keep it as PG as possible here at World Outreach, so we'll skip over the nastier details, but as the population of the earth grew, evil and wickedness took over. How would things ever get back to the way God had intended at the start of creation? At one point, things got so bad that God was sorry for ever creating humans. You heard that right. God was sorry for making humans. It's in the story. You can look it up. So, God decided to start over by wiping out the entire population of Earth with a great flood. He spared one man named Noah and his family and a bunch of animals that Noah loaded into a giant boat. But soon after the flood, Noah's kids and grandkids started to rebel against God, and some of them even completely forgot about God. Again, these parts of the story are better suited for an audience of 18 and up, but suffice to say, violence and hatred was everywhere. From the look of things, it seemed like there was just no hope for human beings. But God's plan was still emerging. God appointed a special group of people to be a blessing to others and help bring things back to the way they were intended to be. God started this group with one man named Abraham, telling him that God would use his family to bless the rest of the world for generations to come. There was just one problem. Abraham didn't have any children. None. Zero. Which might not have been a problem, except that he was already 75 years old, and his wife Sarah was far too old to have children. Wow. Imagine what it would be like if God told one of the oldest couples in this church that they were going to have a baby. Can you imagine your reaction? Can you imagine their reaction? As difficult to believe and downright silly as the promise seemed, Abraham and Sarah waited for God to make good on it. And sure enough, Sarah actually became pregnant, giving birth to a son they named Isaac, which means laughter. And so it began. Isaac grew up, married, and had twin sons. One of these twins, Jacob, got married and had 12 sons of his own. These 12 sons became the leaders of 12 tribes in this new nation, a nation that would bless all people. God gave this nation a name, Israel. It seems God had a way of following through on a promise, just not always the way Abraham, Sarah, or even we might expect.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at Mount Vernon, it is halftime, and you see the score right there, 14-14. Troy Dargowski along with Craig Cox as we bring you action on the third week of high school football. And I'll tell you what, everything we thought this one would be, we talked about a little bit before halftime that we thought it would be a great ball game, and it certainly has turned out to be that way. You know what maybe surprised me the most, something you said at the end of the first half, was that Mount Vernon 3 turnovers, and yet we're still tied. A lot of times that turnover thing can really haunt you.
No, it can. You expect that to happen. I mean, regardless of what level it is. But to have 3 in the same half is certainly always more than what any player wants, and I can definitely tell you it's far more than any coach wants. But, you know, the thing about it is it can end up not hurting you as much if the team and your opponent doesn't answer with those turnovers with points.
Yeah.
And to the Marauders' success, I mean, or benefit, I should say, we had Greenfield only came up 1 out of 3 of those. Yeah. And so it didn't quite become as damaging, but you always want to eliminate those. And any key to the game is always eliminate the mental mistakes.
Well, and certainly give Greenfield-central. I like what you talked about in the clock management there at the end of the first half, because it almost looked like they were going to run out of time, and they maybe have done it as well as anybody I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, and the run game a lot of times will establish that clock. But they cut it a little close with 3 seconds. We talked about, hey, that's how it kind of happened last night with Purdue and Penn State right before the half, too, with 3 seconds. But great job, certainly, by Freeman keeping that and still had a timeout to burn if they needed it. But did a great job of getting the effort to break the plane there and tie the score up at half.
Well, let's talk about what you expect in the second half as you see, of course, the band here at Mount Vernon. Opportunity to play before the crowd here tonight. As we mentioned, it's kind of a little bit of a longer stretch of a halftime show simply because they will go ahead and honor, maybe they already have honored the youth teams, which is so important for these high school football programs. But when you look now at the second half, let's talk a little bit about Greenfield-Central first. They're on the road. This would be a huge, huge win for them if they can pull out a victory here and go to 3-0 and open up in the conference at 1-0. What do they have to do in the second half now to come out with a win?
Well, I think it's a lot of it is getting back to the offset action that they were doing out of the wishbone option in terms of misdirects, running traps on one and getting on the edge. Most of the success that they had early was on the edges and not so much in that A gap, which is what you saw a lot more late in the first quarter and through much of the second. Obviously, they scored that second one with Freeman's run on the edge as well. So I would anticipate that you're not going to see much passing, obviously, from Greenfield-Central. I think it's going to be much in the same with both of these programs. Whereas I think with Mount Vernon, you find a little bit more balance. They show a little bit more air attack than they do with the run. So very differences with these programs. But we're deadlocked at 14, Troy, and I think it's exciting. Not only for this first half, but what we're going to see in the second.
You know, the other aspect of this one tonight for Greenfield-Central, if you're thinking about the mental side of things, Mount Vernon has had their number, and we talked about the 2 games they had last year. Both of them were very competitive for Greenfield-Central as they took that step toward a winning season. But Mount Vernon has won this series of late, and they, again, have had their number for a while.
Well, and it's a program that's certainly on the rise. I mean, and give a lot of credit to the current Warren Central head coach, Mike Kirshner, who really helped turn Mount Vernon's program around, but also to shed light even on Coach Leidy and taken over for Kirshner with his departure back to Warren. And Coach Leidy taking over in his first season and set the bar high by winning the state championship. So a community's expectations are raised quite heavily when you can go out in that first year because people are anticipating that it's just going to be a given. But a lot of times you're on everybody's radar and everybody's circling the Mount Vernon game. And this is a Cougar team with Greenfield-Central last year that lost in the semifinals, the sectionals, and ran with Mount Vernon as good as anybody did during the season, and you're seeing that here tonight.
Well, if you look at Mount Vernon now in the second half, do they stay with the same game plan and certainly, again, cut down on the turnovers, and they probably are pretty good shape?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is what you talk about, in a locker room. Coach Leidy, I'm sure, is talking to his team about just ball security. I mean, you take away those 3, even though that Greenfield only answered on one of them, but you're talking about great field position at the same time that you don't know if those would have led to points. So I think in a lot of ways you talk about ball securities with that. I think that you're probably going to see a little bit more open play in terms of getting this ball in the air a bit more with Mount Vernon here. And it's going to be an exciting half, certainly. Want to also just continue to pray for the Stotts family and haven't got an update on his health condition. He was carried off on a stretcher, but certainly he's in our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, it could be a big loss tonight for Greenfield-Central. Had those 2 interceptions early in the ball game. We will take a timeout. Second half will be coming up in just a couple of moments. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from Iupui School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
High school football on IndianaSRN, brought to you in part by Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe. A great atmosphere for breakfast or brunch. They're open Wednesday through Sunday, 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Tammy and her staff will serve you and your family, and you make sure you try those biscuits and gravy, or Keith's favorite. In fact, he has two favorites, the quiche or the BLT. And by the way, if you do get the BLT, there might not be enough mayonnaise, because Keith always gets extra mayonnaise on his BLT. Tam's is located at 6427 Oaklandon Road in Indianapolis. And again, thanks to Tam's Sweet and Savory for being a sponsor here on Indiana SRN. Want to remind you again, tomorrow we have college football, 9 games this year on Indiana SRN as part of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. We will be down in Hanover as the Panthers, there you see it right there. That should be a great ball game. Both teams played this very well last year. Both had very good seasons overall. So the Panthers will be hosting the Colonels of Center, Kentucky. And again, you see the pregame is at about 1:15, the kickoff at 1:30, and all the action right here on IndianaSRN.org. So we're glad to be a part of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. You want to make sure that you tune into our schedule on IndianaSRN.org as often as you can, and we'll get you updates, because we'll be bringing you volleyball action. And once we get into the baseball season, we'll be bringing you more baseball as well. So a lot of sports headed your way here on IndianaSRN as part of the HCAC. Both teams are back out. You see the officials huddling for the final time as Greenfield-central will get the football. We'll give you an update on that Indiana-Illinois game. Indiana leading at 3-0 as they play in the opening period of play. Full house down in Bloomington. And we've got still just a few minutes left here, a little bit before this one gets started. So second half, of course, we were moving along pretty quickly in that first half. If I'm Greenfield-central, I get the football, like you said earlier, I keep running it, and they've had success in that first half, and I'm sure that I'd love this clock if I were Greenfield-central to be a lot shorter. Does that make any sense?
No, it does. I mean, anytime you can start your positions with better field position and work a short field certainly plays to your advantage. I think it's going to have to be something that the Cougars defense is going to be in a position to where we look at some of I think this was their first score with Brogan, is keeping their receivers underneath you and don't letting anybody get vertical. Troy, I thought when you were talking about all that food at halftime, you were talking about Keith's two favorite things. I thought you were going to say you and I. I didn't know it was mayonnaise.
Well, he might tell that to us, but later on he won't. There will be a return here for Greenfield-central. The outside down the sideline at the 40. Could be a return. A foot race to the end zone. The 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown.
And the next thing is there any laundry? And don't think there's not. And
Owen Anderson on the return, and so 2 straight scores here for the Cougars.
Well, it's a little double dose when you score 3 seconds to go in the half, and then you score in 14 seconds. So pretty good work there.
That was a great return, though, great blocking.
Yeah, and kind of the way that they started off the game. They scored their first possession and now scored the first possession here of the second. But what a great momentum piece to take, because you really saw a lot of that in the second quarter get shifted to Mount Vernon, not only from an offensive standpoint, but also with the defensive stop. So what a great way to come out of the halftime, and Coach Nolting and his staff has got to be pleased with that.
The extra point attempt is on the way and good. It's how you end a half and how you beginning a half, and that's exactly what Greenfield-central has done as they scored both ends. You see it right there, Greenfield-central 21, Mount Vernon 14. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to IHSAA.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
All the fans that showed up here tonight from Greenfield-central just moments ago saw Owen Anderson return that kick around 95 yards for the score, as this one will go into the end zone, and Mount Vernon will have it 1st and 10. But, boy, what a spark to begin the second half here for Greenfield-central.
No, and certainly got to be feeling real good about themselves. Here we got it. And here it's just a foot race. A lot of green left. The only thing that you can hope for here is when you pretty much got the sight set and you're kind of smooth sailing, is that one of your teammates doesn't do something silly and get a block in the back when they're not even in the play and it gets called back. So to their credit, it didn't happen, and Owen gets that there. Great memorable night for him and his family and the program. And I'll tell you, starting off the year now 2-0. First week, big win against 5A Plainfield, and now playing the state champs from last year in 4A in week 3, and you're up 21-14.
All right, first run of the second half here for Mount Vernon, and Brogan goes down. Good pursuit on the outside as that Greenfield defense showing a little speed to the edge.
Yeah, really good pursuit there, stretching him out, but great job of staying home, protecting that edge, and only allowing for a 1-yard gain.
So 2nd down and 9. Mount Vernon with a football for the first time here in the second half. As you see Ertl out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to the left. He's going to throw that side. Ball tipped in the air and nearly intercepted once again. Owen Anderson was on that side. If he's just maybe 2 yards to his right, he gets another pick.
Yeah, it's kind of the aha moment there. Anytime you see a ball get deflected like that and it goes up, 80-90% of the time that's picked off. So to the Marauders' benefit there, or fortune, you should say, it came up incomplete and lining up here for 2nd and long.
See the Cougars make a lot of shifts there on defense. It'll be now 3rd down as Ertl looks that way again. This one in the air and just out of the reach of his intended receiver. That is going to be Burren there at the 50-yard line, but he can't come up with it.
Yeah, great effort there in going after that. The interesting thing that you saw there, Troy, you talked about it, is the pre-snap shift that you got. And so they went down to a 3-down front there. They've been playing pretty much a 4 the whole night.
Yeah, there's another look at it, and just out of his reach. He did get a hand on it, so it'll be 4th down, and Mount Vernon punting it away for the first time.
Yeah, to try to get the opening kickoff back for a touchdown and then have your defense come on and that unit get a stop and force 3 and out is huge.
That one nearly blocked, as this will take a Mount Vernon roll, and we saw a Greenfield-central kick earlier that took a good roll for the Cougars. This one will be down as Mount Vernon, good special teams plays. Ethan Lynch there. And so Greenfield-central will get the football back. Illinois, by the way, now leading Indiana 7-3. And once we see some of those scores start to roll in here on this Friday night, week 3, you know what? I tell you, it seems like the high school football goes faster than any sport I know.
It is. I'll tell you, I was just thinking about today. I said next week with some of these coaches' conference calls, we're talking about we're approaching midseason already.
That's
and it's
crazy.
going quick.
Very crazy. As you see the Cougars running the football out to around the 36-yard line. It might have been.
Was that Freeman? Couldn't tell who that was.
I think that was number 2 that
time,
which was Harrell. Yeah, so Harrell gets the call. They start bunching up that. You got to kind of wait till they all unpile.
Yeah, you just don't know who is that with these tight formations. Harrell had 41 yards on the ground in the first half there with 5 more on that run.
So once again out of the wishbone, and the ball pops loose, and Mount Vernon comes up with it. In there to get the loose football is Aiden Lindstrom, the linebacker. And a big break there for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, great job there on those front 4 and getting some good penetration and causing. We talked about sometimes you'll see that a little bit more with the exchanges because, again, with these tight formations as we get this here, your up back is literally right on top of the quarterback, And it's really what Mount Vernon needed, but what they need more is now to answer with points from the turnover.
Yeah, and you talk about that because that fullback, sometimes he decides where he's going to get the football, or the quarterback decides too, whether he wants to give it to his fullback or go elsewhere. Mount Vernon will run the football, and good second effort there by Julian to get some positive out of what could have been a negative.
Yeah, no, got hit twice in the backfield, spun out of that, kind of playing a little bit of the slippery role, if you will. Looked like gained maybe just a yard, actually. I thought it was 2, but give him 1.
Mount Vernon quickly back to the line of scrimmage. As you see the clock under the 10-minute mark. 2nd down and 9. Ertl with Julian, the lone setback. 2 receivers to the near side. They'll play it right in the middle of the field. Ertl to throw, looks right, airs this one out, has his man, touchdown. And there he is, George Burren with the reception for the big score. And following the turnover, we see another touchdown.
Yeah, striking quick here. Great job of really getting his footwork done at the line of scrimmage and getting to the outside, beating the corner and getting over the top. And when you're as big as he is, it's just go up and get the ball. So Ertl did a great job of putting it where he needed to, where it was for his receiver and out of stretch for the corner. So quick answer there in hopes of trying to tie this up here with this extra point.
Rylan Bernard will come in to attempt that extra point at 9:41 remaining here in the third. A line drive kick once again. It is good. We're tied at 21. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from Iupui School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Well, we have seen some excitement here in the third, and much like what we saw in the opening quarter, both teams able to get scores and quickly, and we have not decided anything yet. This is going to be a short kick.
Decided not to kick to Anderson this time.
Yeah, exactly. But this is going to be a nice return nonetheless, all the way out to about the 39-yard line, so the Cougars will have excellent field position. Let's take a look at the fumble first on that last possession that we saw.
Getting another look at this. We're just with the exchange here, coming up with this, and then followed up by the touchdown with Ertl to Burren here.
And this is a great throw. And we'll see it on the next opportunity as Greenfield will take over 1st and 10 with a football at their own 39-yard line. Handoff around the right side. Harrell will be driven out of bounds. Now let's take a look at that touchdown pass.
Yeah, really good job here.
He got a nice arm.
Yes, he does. Lefty, too. Always nice to see the left-handed shooters and the passers. But really laid it right there where only his teammate could get it as he got vertical on his on the corner.
Is he a lefty like Ken Stabler?
Yeah, right. That's it. That's Snake.
Going to be 2nd down at about 5 and around the left side. 1st down and more, 45-40, and finally brought down. Big run again by Owen Anderson, and right now Mount Vernon has seen enough of Owen Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, even coming back after the 95-yard return. But we talked about, even at the halftime segment, Troy, is about, wanting to see Greenfield-central get to the edges, where that's where they had some of their early success, and there's a great sign of it there. I tell you, it's a great luxury that Coach Nolting, really both of these coaches have, with the multiple players that they have at both the skilled positions to make things happen.
Hand off. This will be the fullback Zeller as he bounces to the outside. He would have been stopped for no gain or maybe even a loss, but was able to get around the right side to get a a yard or so on that carry.
Yeah, great active feet there by Andrew in keeping them going and plays not dead and doing a good job to getting some positive yards as Greenfield-Central is mounting a drive here once again.
2nd down and about 9. Handoff around the right side. Harrell again finds some running room and is driven out of bounds. Finally tackled there by Kyler Grill.
And talking about that edge again that we got. And it looks like he's shaking up a little bit on the play now too. Looks like maybe a ankle and he's actually checking himself out of the game. So that's Braden Harrell on that last run. So we'll try to pay attention to the update on that there as well.
Boy, that'd be 2 big losses.
Yeah, it looks like you got the Bravo who's coming in there.
Quick hit, maybe a yard.
I think it's enough for the first down, though, to move the chains, though. It's like Anderson again.
Yep. Anderson running between the tackles. And it will be a first down. And the football inside the 30-yard line, and the nose of the football at the 28. And once again, they're going to run it over the right side. You mentioned Bravo this time on the carry, gets some good yardage.
Yeah, gets 8 on first down there, Troy. And if I'm not mistaken, that might be his first carry of the night.
It is.
He's another senior, low center of gravity guy, 5'7", but packing a pretty good punch at 170. It's pretty good weight for a 5'7". But first carry of the night and great positive first down yards.
And you got to love the name. Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo. That's right.
So it'll be 2nd down at about a yard, and this time the carry will go to Harrell, and he's got enough for the first down.
It looks like you got about 6 on that. Brings up about 2nd and 4, give or take.
You know, the old
moving the chains.
The old school football guys like this. I mean, grind it out.
Smash mouth football. It's not so much of the flavorful thing to see from the stands because sometimes, again, they're so methodical and so slow. And, but at the end of the day, it's time possession. And you got to play to your strengths. And their strengths and numbers, and both these teams have that.
And winning football.
Absolutely.
Up the middle, not much this time. Looked like that might have been Andrew Zellers. Talked about his numbers coming into this one here tonight. You mentioned it. He hasn't been quite the workhorse you would expect.
No, they've really spread it around. I mean, a lot of it has been there are other two-headed backs, if you will, with Harrell and Anderson, and he only had 34 yards in the first half. But again, they're doing good things.
Greenfield-Central can get a first down on this drive, bouncing to the outside and going out of bounds. And there's Bravo once again making a nice contribution as he steps in for the injured Braylon Harrell.
I might say this too. You talk about Gale, I believe is his first name, is you're in a position where that can be tough playing on your mind. You're waiting for your turn. You got 4 and 5 backs. You never know when your name's going to be called, and you're just waiting. And then your name's called all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You always got to be ready, and this young man certainly has shown that here with his presence.
First down carry as they'll try to work it to the outside. Good pursuit by that Mount Vernon defense on the carry. And I believe that was Braylon Harrell who's back in the lineup. He wasn't out very long, but again, they got some good time there by Gale Bravo. And it'll be 2nd down and goal.
One thing is with a team like Greenfield-Central and the schemes that they're running and their base sets is, when you can have good drives that end result in touchdowns, you're chewing a lot of the clock.
Actually, it's 1st and goal. They got the first down on that carry as they go right up the middle again.
Like they're just short. Inside the 1, though, here, Troy.
Really trying to pound this one in, and on the carry it was their fullback, Andrew Zeller, so it'll be 2nd and goal. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. They'll line it up tight once again. A lot of bodies right there in a closed area, and it'll be Zellers in for the score.
Well, you got a score, you got an answer, and now you got a score. So done it in different ways here. You had one with special teams, then you had one with the pass, and now you have one with the run. So we talked about half. I anticipated I was mounting up to be a really exciting second half. Well, it's been nothing short of that
Yeah.
in the first 7 minutes, I'll tell you.
So Mount Vernon down now by 6, and you'll see the extra point, but what a third quarter we have seen so far. And we still have a whole lot of football to be played.
I'll tell you, it's been great to these first 3 weeks kicking off the IHSAA football season and fall sports, but certainly on Friday Night Lights. Been 3 beautiful evenings. We've had great weather for all 3, and I'll tell you, it's just something about the environment of Friday night football within the community and what you see at a game and just the opportunity that our student athletes and these schools get.
Especially when you are talking about smaller communities.
Excellent.
Because you're right, Friday night is the place to be.
Yeah, it's what a lot of these smaller towns and communities are built off of.
No doubt about it. As you see Greenfield-central, after that score, retaking the lead, and we've seen some excellent performances here tonight on both sides of the football for both teams. And, well, you got to like the way each team has come back. Bottom line, you're not out of this ball game at all either way. When you look at it at this stage, Mount Vernon has been able to come back. Greenfield-central coming back despite a couple of injuries here or there. But I'm very impressed.
No, it has. I mean, both have regrouped well and really shored up in terms of focusing on what they had to do at halftime, come out in the third quarter, and both teams have responded in a way that it might be which team is not going to answer the other one at this point.
Exactly. So now the Marauders will get the football back. This is driven back into the end zone, so that'll be a touchback, no return, and Mount Vernon will take over 1st and 10. Let's take another look at the score. Took the officials a little bit of time, but you could tell Zellers had gotten in there.
Yeah, it's just his power game.
Yep, his push behind got him in, but the officials had to unpile people to see that he did actually cross the goal line. So you'll see Luke Ertl come back out as he brings the offense out once again. Breidenthal, one of the 2 receivers to the left. Burren is there as well.
Yeah, looking in your natural spread formation that they've pretty much done the entire game. Might look to try to see if they get a little bit of the run established here on this series.
Tyler Etherington, one of the 2 receivers to the near side, and they will target Etherington, and good coverage there as the ball falls incomplete.
You know, sometimes you feel like those on the quick slants is like, do I hear footsteps?
Yeah.
You know, type of thing, because that was one that certainly, you know, most of the time Etherington's going to make that catch. But as we see the replay here, it's just a hard little quick slant, and you're running right into a couple guys.
Yeah, one of those was the linebacker Jacob Hinton. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. We play here in the third quarter. Winner of this goes to 1-0 in conference play. As Ertl to throw. Out of the pocket toward the sideline, and he just throws that one away.
Yeah, and you know, you like to see that in a quarterback. I mean, not so much the incompletes, but when you're looking off your first and second receivers and they're covered, you don't want to take a sack. You don't want to lose any yards there, and so you just throw the ball away, kind of regroup, and get to the next play. It's just unfortunate the next one is 3rd and long.
Yeah, exactly. You see the entire offense looking to the sideline. That's where they'll get the play that they're going to run right here. Keep an eye on Burren, number 81. He's on the near side as you see him going in motion. Ertl, 3rd down and 10. Looking left, now goes down the middle of the field and overthrows Trey Jones, who had a step on the defensive back.
I'll tell you, it's been interesting because, you know, we've seen twice now where Trey has beat his defender getting vertical that have been overthrown, and one of them he caught late in the first quarter. And then on the score that we had to burn, his was a 36-yarder over the top. So with that, even though that this is the first stop that we've seen from a defensive stop here in the second half, I really look for the remainder of this game that's maybe something that we want to keep our eye on in getting these receivers vertical and getting them beat on the long ball.
Well, this really could be a big offensive possession for Greenfield-central, as that is a short punt. As they wait for that one to come down, it will take a Mount Vernon bounce, but it was not A very long punt just went high in the air, and Greenfield-central is going to have excellent field position right here. I say this is a big possession because if you're Greenfield-central, hey, if you go up 2 scores, you feel pretty good about this one.
Well,
right now.
and you feel good about it because of what your base sets are and chewing up a lot of clock. We also, neither one of these teams, there has not been a lead more than 7 points.
Yeah.
And so kind of cracking some unfamiliar territory for either team to be up by 14, and especially even probably more so for Greenfield-central than Mount Vernon because of the way they play.
Exactly. So 1st and 10. They'll run the football over the right side. Harrell trying to get to the outside. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing there.
Well, you know, we talked about this at the top of the hour too, Troy, in the pregame. It's always, your identity is always with your new group.
Yeah.
It's not about last year. You know, it's a great celebratory time for the community of Fortville to be able to have the success they did. But there were some key components we'll talk about after this play that they lost.
2nd down and 10. Handoff up the middle. Big hole and down to the 40-yard line. Excellent run again by Bravo.
Yeah, and let's say Bravo.
Man.
But, yeah, we had a receiver that went over 1,200 yards last year. The quarterback, Slanaker, was a 3,000-yard passer. You know, they had their running back, that they had that was for 1,400 yards. So when you take that triple, headed monster, if you will, and you remove that, that's tough to bounce back from in high school football.
Yeah, not an excuse, but a big factor for
Absolutely.
sure. Now the run up the middle for the Cougars. Once the umpire will see who actually carried the football.
Is that Anderson again?
Yep. Owen Anderson. He's been a workhorse tonight, though they have really done a nice job sharing the football amongst now 4 running backs.
Yeah, with Bravo coming in ever since we saw Harrell go out. And, Troy, I don't think we've seen him come back in yet, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, great situation for Coach Nolting.
There is.
Oh, there
Harrell.
he is.
Yep,
He's
right
back in
there.
now.
Takes a good hit right there after a gain of a couple. On the outside defensively, Hunter Atkinson, the outside linebacker, a senior there for Mount Vernon.
Looks like we have a player down, too, for Mount Vernon over there on the Greenfield. Looks like it might even be cramped, so that's a good sign. They're stretching him out now. Always better than an injury.
No doubt about that. Of course, with a little bit of a warm night here in Mount Vernon. Kind of expect that a little bit. Some of the players. Actually, I'm surprised that's the first one we've had tonight. We had a couple in my first week.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yeah, especially, the last couple of weeks hadn't been as hot as normally what we would have, certainly in August, and now in September now. But usually those first 3 or 4 games, the heat is quite a bit more than what we've had in the last couple of weeks. But enjoyed it, actually, a little bit more fall-like weather.
Yeah. We're going to regret that, I have a feeling, sometime in December.
Yeah.
We'll be doing a basketball game, and I'll say, do you remember back in September when we were talking about that nice fall weather? Hey, I want to remind you, participation in high school athletics does not have to end with high school graduation. Even if you have been away from the game for a while, you can get back in the game by becoming a licensed official in any of the 20 sports sanctioned by the Indiana High School Athletic Association. If you want more information, contact their office at IHSAA.org. Now I'm waiting for my schedule to come out this year.
Yeah, how many years have you been at it, Troy?
Not many.
Not many?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, as a former coach, I know sometimes the officials end up getting more than they ever deserve in terms of that. So I know it's tough, but certainly a shout-out to officials of all sports. I know there's really been kind of a national shortage. So, with Troy's previous read there, certainly want to encourage all those to get licensed in any respective sports. It looks like we might have had a fumble there.
Yeah.
Just couldn't tell if forward progress had been stopped. But if so, this could be the second possession in a row that Greenfield has lost the ball, and sure enough, they have.
A little pushing and shoving going on there, but Mount Vernon comes away with it. Looked like it was number 39, and that's Kellen LaBelle. I think it's his second, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And if that name sounds familiar, his brother was the big running back last year.
Yep.
For Mount Vernon. Get a replay here. It kind of came out late. I couldn't tell if the forward progress if a whistle had been blown. But you kind of see it here going up the middle, and then the hit right there, and then here comes your ball out right there. And so I thought actually that they might have blown the forward progress, but apparently not. And the Marauders will take over, and certainly what they needed. And so after getting stopped there.
By the way, that was 54 Roland Tremble again, who had the initial hit that caused the fumble. So 1st and 10 now for Mount Vernon from the 32. They'll sweep to the right side, the cutback, and not a whole lot there. Good job by Greenfield-Central, and now things getting a little chippy.
And it looked like Trey Jones, and you're going to get a penalty because of it right here, a little extracurricular. But put Trey Jones in motion there, which they typically a lot of times will do. And just don't know which way this is going.
I can tell you that it was number 27, Cash Looper, at 5'9", 140, picking on a guy a little bit bigger than him.
Hey, you got to love the heart.
But he may not like the penalty. I might be on him. Let's see.
Oh, personal foul going against the Cougars.
Yeah. Oh, and he's been
he's been ejected. So something must have been just beyond just the regular dead ball personal foul. There must have been some type of verbalization going on with the officials.
You know, Looper is not a starter, and we haven't called his name a whole lot. He may not play next week. I think you get ejected. Don't you have to sit out the next game?
You do. Yeah. Or at least a half. Okay. It's a half. Yeah.
Right.
So if I'm not mistaken, he would have to sit out the half.
But, Coach, he might get taken out even more because his coach, hey, wait a minute.
Absolutely.
You might override that. So 1st and 10 from the Greenfield-Central 48-yard line. Ertl to throw, went near side and out of the reach of Burren, his big tight end.
And great coverage there by Jacob Hinton. Kind of blanket covered, if you would. But Ertl did the great thing in terms of throwing it to the sideline to where, again, only his receiver could get it or it was going to be incomplete.
If you're keeping an eye on the Illinois-Indiana game, Indiana down 7-3 as they play in the second quarter. Here it's 2nd down and 10. Burren in motion will reset to the left. They'll throw, ball caught near side. That'll be Breidenthal, who we haven't really seen a whole lot since early in the ball game, and he's inside the 40 and several players down.
And one of those is Owen Anderson, a guy we've been talking a lot about tonight that's not getting up. And Breidenthal is one we, came into this game, and he was almost averaging 200 all-purpose yards. And you're right. I mean, we only had 13 yards receiving in the first half, and that's his first one here in the second.
Well, we had mentioned earlier, in fact, last time that Greenfield-Central had the football, they had lost Braylon Harrell, and this is Owen Anderson, who had gone down, had a big kick return for the touchdown. He's been a workhorse in the running attack, as you would expect. So we saw earlier in the ball game Jacob Stotts go down with the injury, had 2 interceptions for the Cougars, and he was taken out on a stretcher. And as you mentioned earlier, we pray that everything's okay with him. I'm sure they were very precautionary when they took him out. So
yeah, and they can't really afford to lose another key component of not only their program, but certainly what's been going on here tonight, because he's had a heavy dose of their success.
As you'll see, the Marauders getting a chance to gather together. It looks like, at least from our vantage point, it is maybe a knee injury here for Owen Anderson, and that's really, really tough for Greenfield-Central. By the way, he made that return, as we said, in 14 seconds, and that's pretty fast. We should get telemetry sports.
Yeah, right, and that's in pads.
It is. And trying to get behind blockers and everything else, that could be a huge loss. Another one for Greenfield-Central. He appears he is up and will make his way to the sideline. That's good news, but you can see him favoring that right leg.
Well, again, we talked about it earlier with Bravo coming in when we ended up having Harrell go out and came in. Now we'll see who the next man up is coming out for Anderson.
And they will have lost two very, very good defenders, two starters in that defensive backfield, Stotts and Anderson. So now it'll be first down and 10. Marauders have the football at the 38-yard line. Here's the carry by Brogan. Brogan 30, 25, still on his feet, down to the 24-yard line, his best run of the night.
Yeah, he had the 2-yard score earlier there on the first score for the Marauders, and it's been kind of quiet since then. He picks up 11 there to get this inside the 25 as they're trying to march now and answer back the 7-point deficit.
See them pulling that lineman to the right. That was Kyler Grill. Didn't really throw a block there, but got in the way of the defensive end. As you'll see, Ertl to throw, steps up in the pocket, pumps, loses
fumble.
the football, but they're going to get it back. But a costly loss back to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, really heads up play there by the center Trimble, or excuse me, right guard.
So the loss back again just inside the 35. They have to get down to the 14-yard line, so it'll be second down and 21. Burn in motion. He'll reset to the left, hand off. Up the middle on the carry is Julian. He's been quiet lately, but he get a few yards back, and it's going to be third down.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look back at the...
Almost had a tuck rule here.
Yeah, no kidding about
I think
that.
it kind of his own player kind of ran into him, kind of got leg whipped a little bit, if you will. But great job of Trimble securing that back. That third and long.
Now we're going to call it third down and 15 as you see the clock under 45 seconds. After the turnover once again, can Mount Vernon capitalize right here? They'll look to throw. Quick hitter to the outside. Ball will be caught and then driven out of bounds. That'll be Darnell Stewart Jr., and you're going to add some yards to it.
Yeah, I mean, you having stopped, it would have been fourth and about 8, maybe 9, and now you're in a position where you're going to get a personal foul here, and it's going to get them automatic first down and tack on some more on top of it. So these are the discipline type things. Is one, it's not necessary. Some you might understand, but at this point, his teammate already had him wrapped up. He was going out of bounds, and you come in late and get that, and that just takes a lot of wind out of the sail.
Yeah, and that will shooting yourself in the foot. Once again, Greenfield-central, so take another look at it right here.
You'll see it at the end here. It's got him wrapped up here, and it comes in over the top and just kind of goes right at the helmet. And it's tough to do. You're going to do that. Certainly can't do it on the sidelines where the side judge is always going to be present.
He is standing right on top of it. Two receivers to the left, one to the near side. Lone setback will be Brogan. Brogan gets the call up the middle and near the 6. Should be the final play of this third quarter. And it will be. After 3, Greenfield-central on top of this one, 28-21. Back with the fourth quarter. Coming up, this is high school football on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
There you see the scores. We begin the final quarter of play, barring an overtime here tonight, 28-21. It's been a great game between these two rivals in Hancock County. And we have seen a Greenfield-central team that certainly has turned that program around. 7-4 They won 7 games last year, correct?
That is.
Yeah,
7-4.
They win tonight, off to a 3-0 start. But more importantly, getting a huge win over their rivals, Mount Vernon. But right now, the Marauders knocking on the door once again. 2nd and goal. Handoff up the middle and down to about the 1-yard line. Looked like that might have been Julian once again.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be marked as inside the 1.
So the Marauders trying to take advantage of a huge couple of mistakes made by the Cougars on this drive. Trying to punch it in the end zone. Everybody tight other than the 2 receivers. High snap, handoff over the left side, touchdown. It'll be Ashton Julian again, and we're back to within 1.
Yeah, you anticipate them to punch that in, but good job here of marching down. Kind of got a little bit of help with the penalty, putting them down. It would have been 3rd and long, but nonetheless, they answered. And now we're right back to this, which really sets up for a very exciting finish here, Troy.
Well, it will be interesting to see how the Cougars will respond after losing Anderson. I'm not sure we'll see when he comes back out on offense in the next possession, as the very important extra point is good. We're tied at 28. This is high school football on IndianaSRN. Well, we didn't need much to hype this game coming in. It has been everything that we thought it would be, and maybe even more, as we're tied at 28. Greenfield-central will get the football back. Can they overcome the mistakes made over that last possession? A very short kick, and the return to the 32. Not a big return at all, but great special teams play. That was Christian Kiptu. Sophomore, backup tight end and defensive lineman there on special teams. So Greenfield will have it officially at the 33-yard line. I want to take a look at the tackle here in a couple of moments. There you go.
A little pooch here. Yeah, great open field tackle there.
That'll get you more playing time.
Absolutely. Looks like Christian Kiptu.
Handoff, it'll be Harrell over the left side, maybe a yard. Not much there again, as good pursuit by that Mount Vernon defense on the edge.
Yeah, great job running down the line here. That's where, again, we talked about the Cougars have had great success on the edge, but great job of there in the Marauder defense of stretching them out.
Indiana now leading Illinois 10-7. 2nd down and 8. They'll call that last one a gain of 2, and another hard run, maybe another 2 on the carry, is back in the lineup. Bravo. You wonder if they call him Johnny Bravo at all. Or maybe he's related to Johnny Bravo. 3rd down right here. Our producer has no idea who Johnny Bravo is, do you? These young guys today. Big 3rd down right here for the Cougars. They're going to run it to the outside. Bravo, the cutback, got to the 41. Nice extra effort.
I think it's going to be enough. So likely in this area you would expect them to punt. I haven't seen Greenfield-central punt too many times tonight, but I would anticipate probably seeing that now.
Yeah, they've only punted a couple of times, as they'll be short by about 2 yards, but good effort by Bravo. You don't want to give Mount Vernon the football and let them play with a short field right here. But so far, Dallas Freeman, he's standing over there on the 30. He hasn't decided what they're going to do yet. He's coming back to the huddle. This could be a gutsy call.
Yeah, it is. That's a big one, rolling the dice, especially in your own territory after Mount Vernon just scored.
Mount Vernon will get the timeout. We'll take a break as well. 9:39 remaining in the fourth. This is high school football in IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Well, you see Greenfield coming back. Coach, you have a couple of scores tonight.
Yeah, so you got Center Grove. Was a nice look, but they were playing Trinity out of Louisville. They're up 15-12. Westfield's up 23-16 on Zionsville. Warren Central 28-21 over North Central.
4th and 2, and they'll go for it, and they got it. They ran it right up the middle, got the hole they needed, and a big first down. As we said, a gutsy call, but Zellers does the job.
Well, not only that, what message do you send to your offensive unit, and how does that make you as an offensive player feel about the confidence that your coach has in your own territory, trying to answer right after Mount Vernon just tied it up to go for it on your side of the field with 4th and not really real short either with 4 yards. So great job there.
So first down now for Greenfield-Central. They're going to run the football again. This time, not much.
There wasn't much there. A couple other scores. LC, Lawrence Central, Lawrence North, last year's sectional championship and Battle of Lawrence Township. LC's winning that 7-3. Heritage down 7 to Guerin, 21-14. Ben Davis putting it on Pike at 28-0. Battle of the Parochials, Ron Colley 14-7 over Chittard right now. Fisher's up on Noblesville by 10, and Carmel up on Detroit Cass Tech by 7, 28-21.
Second down and 9. This will be Zellers, the fullback, for a couple there. Tough yardage once again. It'll be third down.
Actually, that might have been Anderson there, Troy. I think I see 23 back in there.
So nonetheless, it'll be at the 49-yard line.
No, that's great to see him back in there. And certainly what a great boost, not only for the program, but everybody sitting in the crowd, too, because he's been a monster tonight.
By the way, Coach, you tell you what, the way that they can chew up some clock, you could potentially
use that 8 minutes, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Especially being at the 52 or just outside that.
So here we go, big third down. You would anticipate it'll be 4-down territory. Looking to throw is Freeman, puts it in the air, and it falls incomplete on the far side.
I'd say we haven't seen that much tonight. I think that's maybe only about his 5th or 6th pass the entire night.
That was Will DeJarnett.
Yeah, you're right, though. With 52 yards away, potentially from a score, or 51 yards, I guess we'll call it, it could very much use that. But as we see down 4th down, they're punting for just the 4th time tonight.
Adams Central is leading Covenant Christian 35-13.
Yeah, you might add, too, that game's being played at Taylor University.
Yep.
You know, the surprise that, the Cathedral, they're obviously moved up to 6A, which is a jump, but they kind of not so much struggled, but it's a little bit different ball game for them now, and they're only up 1 on Penn right now, 14-13.
Well, that one shanked off the side of his foot, and Mount Vernon is going to get excellent field position right now with 7:49 remaining. How this thing changed, we're talking just a little bit ago, how they might be able to march down the field and run out as much of the clock as possible. Now, all of a sudden, they're on their heels, speaking of Greenfield-Central.
Yeah, and it comes in different volumes with Mount Vernon because, they have a much more balanced attack, but more of that attack is obviously through the air. And I'll tell you, what a luxury it is for Ertl and the coaching staff to have the receivers. I mean, outside of Trey Jones, they go 6'5", 6'4", 6'4", 6'2". I mean, a lot of times you don't even see that at the highest level of college.
Exactly.
It's incredible size.
First down, looking to throw Mount Vernon. Here's Ertl to the near side, nowhere close to his intended receiver coming out of the backfield. That was Brogan.
Now, great job here by the defense in terms of really protecting their edges and staying to their assignments. There was great coverage there, and Ertl did the right thing and just throwing that away.
So now 2nd down and 10. Might be an instance, as we might have alluded to earlier, whoever's the football last might win this game.
Yeah, you probably don't anticipate Mount Vernon holding it for 7 minutes with their scheme, but you certainly would probably with Greenfield-Central.
Once again on the carry, Brogan. Maybe a yard. Not a whole lot there, so now 3rd and long.
And this is where you want to be if you're Greenfield. Now you just got to be in a position where you did what you did on 1st down, is really stay true to your assignment because you highly anticipate a pass here. They're setting that in that spread set. This is probably where you look for a 3-down set front, and it looks like that's what they're going to do, where they had a 4-down front here most in the first half. So you're coming in with nickel coverage, 5 defensive backs, and your 2 linebackers.
Breidenthal at the bottom of the screen, trips to the right side. One of those includes Trey Jones. 3rd down and 9. Ertl to throw, looking right, goes left, and is it complete? Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Nice reception by Breidenthal here on the near sideline, and good enough for a 1st down.
And he's one that's been their leading rusher, leading receiver, kind of their utility guy, does a lot even in the return game as well. So great footwork to be able to keep his feet in bounds there and be able to retain possession.
So 1st down with the football at the Greenfield-Central 49-yard line. You see the clock is under 6.
Look how far the corner is off of Trey Jones. A quick pass right here.
Handoff, left side. Once again, this will be Julian. Picks up some nice yardage there. Looked like he was going to get stopped for a loss.
Yeah, great footwork there. Just kind of did a little sidestep to elude the first tackle and then hit the seam, got downhill, and turned that into about 6 or 7 yards.
So this clock might be in favor now of Mount Vernon. So this will be at 2nd down and about 7. Burren in motion. Hand off and back in the ball game. Brogan up the middle. Nice hole inside the 40 down to about the 38.
Yeah, getting a little shifty, if you will, to make the first guy miss. Mount Vernon's kind of seeing a little bit of their or giving Greenfield a little bit of taste of their own medicine here and chewing up some clock.
Officially at the 37-yard line. Good enough for another 1st down. Brogan was not on the radar much coming in the running department until tonight. But now Mount Vernon on the move. Burren in motion from left to right. That'll make trips to the right side. Hand off again to Brogan. Brogan gets to the 35 before he's brought down there.
You want to think, too, when you start kind of getting this time, and it's always important, but when you get and you're deadlocked like you are and you get inside this 6-7 minute mark, you got to really start thinking about ball security. Mount Vernon had 3 turnovers early on the first half. Done a little bit better job here in the second, but they just got to be in a position where they're doing this on the last drive and really take care of the ball.
See, it's 2nd down and 8. And if you're not a quick-scoring team like Greenfield-Central generally isn't, they may not have a whole lot of time when they get the football back. The keeper over the left side, and not a whole lot there for Ertl, but he does get inside the 35-yard line.
Haven't seen Luke get out of the pocket too much tonight, making things happen with his feet. So trying to get some positive yards there, bringing up 3rd and 6. This is obviously something, if they don't get it here, you anticipate, again, to be 4-down territory.
So 3rd and 6. See the Marauders look to the sideline once again as they make the adjustment on what play call they'll go with as we come up on 4.5 minutes. Ertl.
Blitz.
Yep, and he throws it in the air near sideline. Ball caught, but he's out of bounds. Good effort on the reception.
A great athletic play here by Breidenthal. But Looks like might even have a penalty here on this, so might be interesting to see if this might be a legal use of hands or a holding on the corner when he came out of his break on that. But officials are kind of talking through this, and this will be a huge penalty if, in fact, this goes. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, those are tough. Setting up, if you remember earlier in the third, too, where they had the face mask penalty.
That's right.
Same thing that gave him the first down. So 2 critical plays, and that last one led to a touchdown, and we'll see what this one looks like, but that's tough.
Yeah, Coach, that penalty happened at about
15,
the 25, right?
15 yards out of his break.
Yep. So that's another huge penalty against Greenfield-Central. It will give the Marauders a first down. Mount Vernon trying to avoid an 0-3 start. Greenfield-Central would love to go to 3-0.
Well, and it doesn't get any easier after this game, too. They got New Pal next week.
How about
so
that?
That's the importance of really getting in this win column.
Fortunately, if you're Mount Vernon, at least you get them at home, right? Or does that matter much when you're playing New Pal?
New Pal, I don't know.
Trips
the way
to the
they've
right.
been playing.
They have. Hash mark left, handoff, and Brogan gets stuck, and I think he's going to lose a yard or so.
And that's the All-State, All-Conference Brad Allen there. We haven't talked a lot about him tonight, but a lot of times those guys are making things happen that always don't get recognized. But I'll tell you, that's what you want to happen from an All-State player right here. Really hitting this seam quick. And watch what he does here is just wraps the arms. And really good job there by the D lineman.
5'11" and 233.
Yeah.
To throw is Ertl. Has time. Launches toward the end zone. It's up for grabs, and it's caught. Touchdown, Burren again.
That's physicality. That's what 6'5" and 215 will do for you. So Coach Brown will be getting that. And I'll tell you, you talk about Purdue and how much they throw the ball last night. You know, Aiden O'Connell threw 58 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
They ice his arm down, huh?
I was going to say, being Burn, you're a guy that's a receiver. You love to be in a program like that. But great athletic play, really good ball by Luke. And you know, at that point, you have a receiver like that. You just throw it up and let your guys go make plays.
Yeah, we talk about the catch, but that was a great throw by Ertl, and a chance now for Mount Vernon to go up 35-28. The kick is up. It is good. We're going to take a look at that touchdown as we head to the break, but this is the one that will give Mount Vernon the lead here in the fourth quarter, and you couldn't have put that in any better place for George Burren to get his second touchdown reception of the night. And now Mount Vernon has the lead. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Onside kick there by Mount Vernon, but Greenfield-Central will have the football, and they'll have excellent field position as we're back here at Mount Vernon High School, and the Marauders just taking the lead moments ago, and we're going to take a replay of the kick right here.
A little bit of surprise there. I mean, where you've really shown the momentum and getting two scorers and kind of getting a short kick here and giving a team that really, you know, chews a lot of the clock. So making them go longer field takes more time. Now you're giving them a little shorter of a field to work with, whereas they don't need as much time with a run game. Is an interesting call, but at the same time, that could be some great confidence in the defensive unit.
Handoff right up the middle, and again, not much for the Cougars in the running attack, as I believe that was, and it was Zellers again. By the way, that IU and Illinois game now tied at 10. Some late-night football, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just like last night.
These 8 o'clock starts. Game's not getting over to about 11:30. I'm in bed well before then.
Me too. Flush to the outside, Freeman. He'll keep it himself near the 49-yard line. It'll be shy of a first down. It'll be third down.
I will say that I'm normally I'm in bed well before then, but when football or sports are on, then it kind of tends to keep me up. So I stayed up past my bedtime last
night. So you're tired this morning, though, right?
Yeah, I felt it.
2:45 to go. Big third down here for the Cougars. They'll run this one around the left side. First down, and there's your quarterback getting that first down, Dallas Freeman.
As much time as they're taking with the run, I would really like to, and of course, it's going to stop just to set the chains. But once those are, you got to be ready. What you don't want is this is really valuable time. And so when you're taking 10 seconds to get the play ran again after the chains are set and the clock has started, it's really valuable time that they're chewing up here.
That'll be at the 44. This time it'll be, again, your quarterback keeper, Freeman, around the left edge, and he'll go out of bounds. That's good news if you're Greenfield-central.
They kept the clock. Well, that's still running.
They say he stayed in bounds.
Which was quite interesting.
Wow.
But again, there's just not much hurry up here.
Yeah, they're not a quick-hitting team most of the time.
They got all 3 of their timeouts, but in 2 minutes, again, it's a lot of time, but you still want to be in a position as much as they're running it. That's going to chew up the clock.
Well, the quarterback made the mistake, and Freeman will go down on this one.
Might get a timeout here.
Nice play. There's number 20, Sean Taylor, outside linebacker at 6'3" and 170 pounds.
Timeout here with Greenfield.
So we have a timeout. Mount Vernon on top of this one. 35-28. This is high school football on IndianaSRN.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Mount Vernon leading it by 7. Greenfield-central with the football. Big third down right here at the 39-yard line. What are you going to do here? That's what I'm asking you.
They're going to run.
Okay.
Big gambling guy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then they pass.
Then they pass.
They've hardly passed all night.
And that was not well executed, but well defended by Ren Davis.
Yeah, very surprising that they threw that. And, of course, I understand trying to save maybe clock, but it's much outside their comfort zone for one, and it hasn't been their bread and butter. And now you've gone backwards to set yourself up now for more of a 4th and 12.
And that was behind the line of scrimmage. That could have been really dangerous.
Ball. Yeah. So, interesting call there, but one that they need here, I think, is about 4th and 12.
1:18 remaining. We'll go ahead and keep it here for this timeout. Remind you again, tomorrow, college football headed your way. It'll be Center, Kentucky at Hanover, our first of 9 games in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. There you see it, tomorrow, 1:30 kickoff. Yours truly gets a chance to go back down to Hanover, and Sean Krull will be joining us there as well. The last time I was at Hanover was the basketball championships. So
that's nice. Beautiful campus.
It
right
is.
There on the river.
It really is. I love that area down there. It's the only place you can see 3 natural bends of a river, according to our producer. Really? And that didn't convince you to go there? I guess they need to save that sales pitch for somebody else then. As you see the 4th and 11 on your scoreboard right there.
Well, this is either going to be move some chains or it's going to be victory formation for the Marauders.
It'll be Freeman. Here comes the blitz. He gets rid of it, but I think somebody tipped the football at the line of scrimmage. It falls incomplete, and Mount Vernon is going to walk away with a win here tonight.
Couldn't quite see who got in there to make that play, but what a great moment for the Marauders after dropping their first 2 and getting in the win column, which is probably not only much needed for these young kids, the program, but also going into next week with New Pal as we look at the replay.
Might have been Ren Davis again, the way he was celebrating, or he's just celebrating.
Yeah, just celebrating. It looked like 56, if I'm not mistaken, like Tyler Kimberly, I believe.
Yeah, Kimberly, by the way, wears a red and blue shoe, so the other pair must be at home someplace as he mixes those up, and Mount Vernon's going to just take a knee and burn the rest of this clock. But what a game tonight, though, huh?
Yeah, we got everything that we would have expected here. Obviously, one in a county rival, conference rival, and one being that it gave us everything that we wanted. Shout out to both coaches, Coach Knowlton with the Cougars and Coach Leidy with the Marauders, and preparing their kids very well. And certainly love what I've been able to see in the growth of Greenfield-Central's program over the last couple years, and really starting to make a turn for the better there. And some great things to build off of as they take their first defeat tonight, and they'll have Pendleton Heights next week.
By the way, these two teams, like last year, could meet again, so keep that channel tuned to IndianaSRN, because we may see them match up yet one more time when the playoffs roll around. But Mount Vernon finally getting on the win column, as Coach had mentioned, after 2 very tough losses to begin the season, but they will be victorious here tonight. They'll still, it's all academic from here with 21 seconds remaining. But a great, entertaining high school football game, and as you mentioned earlier, this is what Friday night is all about. And we saw 2 teams really play well for the most part here this evening.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, these players for the Cougars probably are really feeling like they let one slip away. There was neither team that really could say really had a control of the game. It was very balanced attack. Both teams answered when they needed to, and then both teams held at times each other, and well-fought game. Love to see this after the game was over with players congratulating and when the game's over and having good sportsmanship, so we got to see that.
Well, they probably know each other really well.
Really well, right.
We'll take one last timeout. 35-28 your final. We'll be back in a moment.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
35-28 your final. Mount Vernon now 1-2, but 1-0 in conference play. Greenfield-Central falls to 2-1, 0-1 in the conference. Coach, your final thoughts as we get ready now? We'll be thinking about week 4 next week.
Well, like I said, there at the end of the game, I think it was a very balanced attack on both sides of the ball. I mean, at the end of the day, Mount Vernon, really capitalized on the turnovers that Greenfield had, whereas Greenfield really didn't. They only got 1 out of the 4 that Mount Vernon had. So I think that played a big difference in the game. Got in the win columns for them, and they'll regroup and bounce back as Greenfield again has Pendleton Heights next week, and Mount Vernon will host New Pal.
Yeah, what a game that ought to be with New Pal. We talked about them a lot already, and they have reloaded, you might say, and they have played very well in their first 2 games, and that ought to be a great matchup next week.
No, and I think it one that, New Pal's playing as good as anybody in the state. I mean, really took it to Westfield the first week and handed them a very lopsided victory there, and just doing some great things. And so, and then, Mount Vernon being the defending state champion. So a lot to be excited about going into next week there in Fortville.
As you see a couple of the replays, we will wrap it up now here tonight. And, of course, as I have mentioned, time and time again, college football back on IndianaSRN coming up tomorrow, as we will have Hanover, their season opener against Center out of Kentucky. Pregame at about 1:15, and the kickoff at 1:30, the first of 9 straight weeks of college football out of the HCAC. And don't forget, Tuesday, we'll have volleyball action, doubleheader, Bethesda Christian and Heritage Christian. We'll also have Cathedral and Chittard on Tuesday. And then next week, probably the key matchup right there, Cathedral and Chittard right here on IndianaSRN. We'll also have that New Pal and Mount Vernon game. Should be a great one on Friday night. Eastern Hancock will take on Heritage Christian. And then up in South Bend Adams and South Bend St. Joseph. Great job by Ethan Pollock out on the camera here tonight. Matt, thank you as always, our producer. Coach, good to see you again. We'll see you next time, okay?
Always. Take care.
Thank you for joining us as well, as Mount Vernon picks up the big win tonight. The final score, 35-28. For everyone here at IndianaSRN, thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time in high school football on IndianaSRN.org.
All right. Sam, clear.
We're clear. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug
Yep, we'll
this.
do. Bye-bye.